before. Travel through the open door. Circumstances navigated the path. And life happened all so fast. No, they got lonely. Sometimes you see, I know we couldn't make it. Even when I'm off beat, I still land on my feet. And nothing can shake me. Cause I know my took a hold on. Never. This is where I am destined to be. I'm not ready to give up. No. I believe in the miracle of life. Life's a play for no rehearsal. Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Games we play can't take it personal. Cause the devil is a liar. I'm telling you the truth. It's all in what you do. Some things you gotta prove. And it's fight for millions. Take a second, see the blessing in it. But much expected, much is given. When I made the living, now I'm giving back to children. Never let the power come first before your happiness. Yes, you can be the best if you go the distance. Mix a little sweat with your persistence. You know that the best things are never instant. Just shine up, let them see your brilliance. Get up, open up your eyes now. It's the moment of truth. No backing down. We're bringing it through like for the children, it's a given. You gotta give it, be a blessing.
This my personal statement. Run the game like I'm aces. Learn and develop patience, determined to be the greatest. Yeah, bobbing and weaving, they changing up like the seasons. Indigenous to the grind, so I do it for all my people. Jabbing the competition, back up against the ropes. You fighting for recognition, I'm fighting just to promote equality where we lacking. Or cancer slowing our road. I'm confident we'll make it. We focus on common goals. Yeah.
Give back, give love, giving something away. Never give up, stand tall to fight another day. 2 toes, 2 feet, I stand on the ground. I'm going back soon and fight this final round. Life's a play for no rehearsal. Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Can't take it personal. Cause the devil is a liar. Telling you the truth, it's all in what you do. Some things you gotta prove.
Hey, what's up? Love is the word. What it do? Love is the word. DB, what's up, big homie? Africa is home. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Africa is home in the barbershop. What's up, Fat Cat? Phantom Brawler, Chi-Town in the house. What's up, Phil? What's up, MMA Champ 2? DB, I'm going to need you to break down Clarissa Shields, man, later on. Deacon 305 in the house. I thought about you today because I ain't seen you in a couple days, big homie. I was going to call you by Wednesday or Thursday. I'm glad you're back in here, mate. What's up, Mr. Male Advice? TB, we need a story when the guests leave. TB is in the on deck circle for a birthday story, man. What's up, Jason? Mark Wonderlick, what's up, man? Let it snow. Is it snowing yet? Nah, it's too early. Is it? I don't know. What's up, CB Sports, man? What's up, TB, Mr. Terrence Bailey, man? I appreciate everybody coming in here, man. I am excited for this show, man. I'm excited, man. What's up, Michael Harris? I am excited, man. Smash the like button on the way in, man. It's going to be a fun show, man. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to talk about Errol Spence later on down the line. You know what I mean? But, yeah, it's fight week. Man, I've never heard a professor talk like this before ever in my life, man. Hopefully y'all had a chance to Google him on the way in. This is a Reggie Owens type of affair. Welcome to the show, Reggie. This show is dedicated to Reggie Owens, man, all the way in Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, man, home of the present and great Harry Reid, man, from Search City, Nevada. What's up, Dallas Lee? Why am I excited? Because it's fight week, man. It's Errol Spence week. This is a Reggie Owens show. Deacon 305 is back in here. And DB gonna break down the Clarissa Shields news later on in the show because I don't know what it means, but I'm gonna lean on him to give me his expertise. So that's why I'm happy, man. You know what I mean? And man, we got an awesome guest, man. And I've been listening to him all day. And between him and Nipsey, I've been going from Nipsey to Professor Jody. Nipsey, Professor Jody. Nipsey. I ain't even lying, man. Can't lie. I can't make this up, man. So I'm excited to have him in here. And funny enough, we're neighbors. How funny is that? I don't know where he lives, but we live in the same. We're less than a mile away from each other. So that's pretty funny, man. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, how's everybody doing? Everybody good? Yeah, I watched a whole lot of Danny Garcia and Errol Spence stuff. I'm confident in Errol. I'm very confident in Errol. And I tried I tried my best not to make it like a home team type of an affair. But I watched that interview. If you guys get a chance, go watch that Sway in the Morning interview. I think he did a phenomenal job with Sway in the Morning. Him and Horse. Horse is he's a rapper. You know what I mean? Uchi Wally Wally. He got the best verse on Uchi Wally Wally. You know what I mean? And he has a new podcast with Sway. Sway has been amazing for 20 plus years. You know what I mean? You don't know hip hop if you don't know Sway, you know, and he's broke a lot of new artists. And I like their format. It was pretty cool because Horse is the boxing expert. And Horse does a phenomenal job with his boxing intellect. And Sway is like the well-rounded Swiss Army knife. You know what I mean? That's who Sway is. So, but he is a boxing fan because he covers boxing. He goes all the big fights in Vegas. But if you get a chance, go watch that. Go watch that podcast. So producer Patty's in the building. Appreciate you for confirming the guest. She actually invited him on, and I did. Man, I was like, damn, a jolt of lightning came through me today, man, and I'm just excited. That's why I'm excited. It's fight week. And we got Professor Armour in here, and he is here. Hey, I'm excited to have you. Ready? Welcome to the show, man. We appreciate you coming on, man.
Welcome to the show.
How you doing? You on? Can you hear me? Now I can hear you. How you doing? Good evening. I can hear you. Can you hear me? He's gonna come back in. We heard him. So we'll get the party started one more time. You know what I mean? So yeah. Deacon 305 in my city. I did it. You know what I finished watching? Man, I got a lot done today, man. I did like 10 videos. I did Zoom school. I was Zoom daddy with Lincoln for I finished trial 4. Man, I was all over. I was locked in today, man. It felt good, man. It felt good. You know what I mean? I watched Errol Spence, Danny Garcia. I was productive. You know what I mean? Today, so it was a pretty good day. He probably couldn't see me, but we saw him, so he'll come back in. So Patty, just let him know that that I saw him and heard him. So if you can get a hold of him, just let him know to use that same link, and we'll go from there. But how do y'all have it? That Tank video? Oh, I appreciate you, man. Hopefully Tank got it. Hopefully Tank got it. I'm a big supporter of Tank. Like, I want him to win on so many different levels because okay, we're gonna try it one more again.
All right.
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. Man, what's up, man?
Excellent. Good. I'm glad we're connecting. You know, the technological kinks present themselves, but we've overcome them.
Oh man, how's quarantine treating you?
Hunkering down, man, it's treating me a lot better than other people because I can work virtually from home. And so many other people don't have that luxury. And so they have to choose between, a lethal organism or earning, putting food on the table. So I have many blessings to count in that I'm not in that situation.
And I can tell you have a great place to work from because you got them high ceilings, man. I hear your voice is bouncing everywhere.
Yeah, sorry about the acoustics.
No, that's a reward of your hard work, man. So real quick, before we get into the evolution of the nigga theory, did you get a chance to see that meme today of that restaurant?
No, catch me up.
Okay, so I actually have it. If I'll play it for you because it's like a hot button today. And I was like, man, I would love to get your take on this.
Let's check it out.
Okay, 1 second.
I invested a lot of money.
Okay, let me play this for you, and we'll go from there. I'm very interested in your take on this.
Cool.
And we'll go from here. Can you see it?
Yeah, I think I can.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept so Black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as they... Come on, stop the music, please. Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? No, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves and how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the fuck out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it. No, don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. You don't like it. Get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
I'm interested in your take on that. I'm interested in your take on that.
Yeah, well, give me your total sense of the background. He was objecting to, because, some of it was going a little in and out because of my reception. He was objecting to people using profanity in his restaurant as customers.
They were playing music and a group of young ladies, one in particular, started twerking on the table. And to my knowledge, he asked her, he went to the table prior and then came back and then made the statement to the whole entire restaurant.
Certainly as a proprietor of a business establishment, you can say to customers, I don't want people standing on the tables, right? Anybody can see that anywhere. Standing, dancing, I don't care what you're doing on the table. If you're, jumping rope on the table, doing jumping jacks, doing push-ups on the table, you can imagine a proprietor having a reasonable basis to say, stop doing that, and other people understanding that the restaurant is not an appropriate place for that. So that part, I can't have too much of a problem with. What I have a problem with is then zeroing in on the twerking part. Whatever dance they were doing, the twerking part is trying to make it some kind of, I don't know, something associated with what people like to call ratchet, I guess, or ghetto or whatever. And then it's starting to play into a politics of respectability that is in the Black community, that is ugly and vicious, and is what I'm writing this book to oppose. A lot of what I'm writing this book against is the politics of respectability approach to law, criminal justice matters, and all kinds of matters, whether it's rap music and, what was appropriate and inappropriate to allow on the airwaves. You've had this strain of respectability politics that I think is most exemplified by, at least the way I use it in the book, Chris Rock's routine in 1996, Bring the Pain, when he goes back and forth in front of an all-Black audience just about in Chocolate City and says, number one, who's more racist, Black people or white people? He says Black people, because Black people hate Black people too, number one. Then he says after that, number two, it's like a civil war going on in Black America and there's two sides. There's black people and there's niggas.
Niggas.
And niggas have got to go. I love black people, but I hate niggas. Boy, I would say, let me join the Ku Klux Klan. See, I do a drive-by from here to Brooklyn. And he keeps going like that for 30 minutes, right? And what's his core definition of a so-called nigga? When you look at his enumerated list of infractions and violations and examples of wrongdoing, what's his core definition of a so-called nigga? A black criminal. A morally condemnable black criminal of some kind. Well, by that definition, the up to 90% of young black males, and when I put this in a recent law review article, the law review editor said, Professor, this sounds hyperbolic. We're going to need a pinpoint site. So I got him the pinpoint site.
Wow.
Up to 90% of the young black males in some of these inner city neighborhoods are going to wind up in jail, on probation, on parole at some point in their lives. Are we willing to say, as a community, we're ready to relegate 90% of our own youth to niggerdom? You know, well, yes, we were willing to in the 90s. We were laughing at those punchlines. We were doing amens and uh-huhs and preaches when Chris Rock was saying that, you know, and accepting the political invitation implicit in the punchline to distinguish between a morally upright us that embraces respectability politics and a morally condemnable them, black criminals, you know, black wrongdoers of any kind. So yeah, that part of the meme is ugly and vicious and pernicious.
I got you. What's the origin of niggerdom in your eyes? And by the way, he has a book called Nigger Theory. I'm literally getting started after I finish. I have a Malcolm X book I just bought, and I'm halfway through that. So your book is next, and I can't wait to read it. I got it about a week ago. I literally can't wait to read it, man. And what's the origin of niggerdom? Nigger theory.
Yeah. Well, it has it's a river fed by many streams, right? One of them, and then we can come back to some of the other origins. Let me start with the first river, the first stream that feeds this river, and that's the story of an 8-year-old boy, myself, in Akron, Ohio, who is on the receiving and whose family is on the receiving end of a no-knock warrant where they bust down our door. You know, there's a family of 8 of us all together in the home, in the dwelling, and they come in and handcuff my dad, drag him out, and sentence him to 22 to 55 years in the Ohio State Penitentiary for possession and sale of marijuana. And so he was looking at literally rotting in a jail cell for the rest of his life because he was a 6'8" barrel-chested uppity Negro who was going to do the 55, not the 22 part of that sentence, right? So instead of resigning himself to that fate, as many have to because there's no choice, he reached up on the warden's shelves of his library and started pulling down law books and taught himself criminal law, criminal procedure, and constitutional law. Then started typing his own writs of habeas corpus on a typewriter I keep upstairs, still with me now, a manual Royal typewriter on his cell floor, wrote up his own writs of habeas corpus, represented himself pro se through the state and federal system until I lost him when I was 8. You know, family separation has been going on, not just at the border, but as part of the American criminal justice system for generations now. So I lost him as an 8-year-old. The next time I was standing with him, it was as a 14-year-old. He'd made it to the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals in Cincinnati, Ohio. And if you know anything about American history, you know that Cincinnati is where the Underground Railroad came up. You know, if you go to Cincinnati, if you fly into Cincinnati, you actually land in Kentucky. Then you take you drive over the bridge into Cincinnati, right? Because when you got to Cincinnati, you got to freedom. Black bodies in bondage found deliverance in Cincinnati. So here I was standing with my dad in Cincinnati, another black body in bondage, right? As he was arguing literally for his life before an en banc panel of judges. That's when they bring them all together. And now I teach his case in my criminal law course. It's called Armour versus Salisbury. And it stands for the proposition that it's a denial of a defendant's due process rights for the state, through the DA, through the prosecutor, to deliberately and intentionally lie to the jury to convict the defendant, which is what they admitted that they did with my dad, right? Wow. And so he prevailed on that theory, and that is one of the reasons I call this work nigger theory, because he was otherized, demonized, niggerized by the white power structure in Akron, Ohio at the time they wanted to bring this uppity black man down, and they used the legal system, the criminal justice system, to do so. And I want to attack that way of thinking about black criminals, like people like my dad. Even though he was able to ultimately vindicate himself, he still has that criminal stigma that remained indelibly etched, to him in a lot of ways until his dying days. So, but it goes back further than that, brother. It goes back to what we were talking about when we said black bodies in bondage. It goes back to slavery.
Yes.
Right. That they use the N-word to ultimately otherize us, to say all we were and are is chattel, property, right? So it was used to distinguish and distance, and dehumanize and essentially niggerize, otherize us. All right, that's its history. Now, many would say that a word with that kind of history, with roots that run deep into that kind of blood-soaked past, that any word with that kind of etymological history cannot be used in the current day, here and now, without carrying that baggage, carrying that freight, without carrying that hate and that venom and that ugliness and that perniciousness, right? And that's, in fact, what the NAACP said in 2006 when they buried the N-word in Detroit in Freedom Plaza in a formal ceremony with a eulogy and everything else, right? And so there are those who think of the word in that way, but then we know others, black writers and artists and performers, have used that same word in ways that aren't dehumanizing, but are humanizing, are as a way of embracing. When somebody like, say, Tupac Shakur in his Solidarity Dirge, Life Goes On, says, how many brothers fell victim to the street? Rest in peace, young nigga, there's a heaven for a G. I'd be a lie if I told you that I never thought of death. My niggas, we the last ones left. He's using the word as a term of endearment, as an assertion of solidarity, as an expression of fraternity and love and brotherhood, right? He has flipped it. He has inverted it. He has taken its negative meaning and found positive applications for it through using it ironically, with irony. And so, it is a word that black artists, going back to Richard Pryor, people like Dave Chappelle, Pac, Nas, Cube, Hove, everybody has their Mount Rushmore. A lot of my work draws on, the perspective of black criminals, say, or truly disadvantaged blacks. So, my own Mount Rushmore in rap is old school kind of Pac, Nas, Cube, and Hove. Just kind of old school. But notice the common thread in all of those, they're N-word virtuosos. Cube, Cube and NWA, I hadn't heard anything like it in my life. I remember coming out of class at Berkeley and walking down Bancroft Way, and some students had put their speakers out the window. This was 1987. And I heard a sound coming out of that window I'd never heard before, right? Anything like it. And it went something like this. I heard, it was fuck the police coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad because I'm brown and not the other color, so police think. they have the authority to kill a minority. I said, man, what is that but political speech? What is that but oppositional political discourse, right? And it's profane, and it's disruptive, and it's in your face, and it was powerful, you know. And then, you know, Pac and Nas and everyone else, you know, ran with it, of course, and we know the history after that. But what they were able to do was say, you're going to call us the N-word? You're going to say the black criminals are niggas? Well, let us give you our perspective. Let us give you the world from our perspective, the so-called nigga perspective, right? Let us penetrate pop culture with our narrative, and through doing that, actually, you know, create sympathetic identification with black criminals, black wrongdoers, black gangbangers, black dope dealers, right? Let's have a music that doesn't demonize and otherize these people, simply do that, but also humanize them, you know, gives them a backstory. So that's what I try to do in this book. Among first and foremost, you know, I try to attack the effort by people like not only Chris Rock and you know, in the day and the audience that was laughing at him, but all of the people who still embrace that moral framework, that moral compass that distinguishes between good Negroes and bad Negroes, lovable black people and condemnable niggas. I reject that dichotomy, reject that distinction, even though it's tempting to fall into it. You know, often we've fallen into it. We were in the black community. When you look at the polls from the 90s, you see that 75, 80, 85% of blacks, a lot of times they were polling saying they were saying they were supporting more police, more prisons, more jails, right? We got to recognize how we were thinking. The Overton window has shifted a lot in 20 years. Right, but I was writing books back then when they were getting those polls. I was fighting people like Randall Kennedy, you know, black professor at Harvard Law School, who was a big proponent of the politics of respectability, and was saying, yeah, you know, distinguish and distance yourself as good Negroes from them bad Negroes, you know, because that will make us look better in the eyes of white people. It will enhance our racial reputation, and that will help the group as a whole, because white people are making the policy decisions that will affect our community's fortunes. And if they have a good image of us, a good appraisal of us, they'll make decisions that are more favorable to us. But if we have a bad racial reputation, then they'll take it out when they make their policy decisions. So we got to look good for white folks. We got to look good in the eyes of white people, and make sure we are upright and distinguishing and distancing ourselves from bad Negroes, right? That's the politics of respectability in a nutshell, right? And that philosophy is always out there. You even heard it a little bit in that meme you shared with me. It's always out there, and when we see it, we have to reject it, and it's the only way we're going to make deep cuts in racialized mass incarceration is by radically changing our moral compass and moral framework.
Is that white acceptance? Is that and you know, I was listening to you today. I kind of want to combine that. As black people born in America, I was listening to you speak, and I want to ask you: is if we walk the straight line, is our life predetermined?
Ooh, yeah. In this sense, in one sense, yes. In another sense, no. But I'll tell you this: people who think that they can transcend their blackness, that their life cannot be influenced by, affected by their blackness, in that sense, you know, are living in a fantasy world, an utter fantasy world. Here I am. Take me, for example. I'll just give you the latest multiple incidents I can recount just over the last 4 or 5 years, you know, in which I have, you know, I teach in law school. I'm a chair professor. I have, you know, a respectable a car, a respectable house. I'm Mr. Respectability. right? In terms of all the criteria you want to come up
Bells
with,
and whistles, right?
with
Yeah.
respectability politics,
Mhm.
I'm Mr. Respectable, right? But when I'm driving to school to teach my torts class about a year and a half ago, and I'm rolling down Exposition,
Yeah.
I'm pulled over by, I see some red and blue party lights in my rear view window, and so I pull over. You know, it's a 35-mile-an-hour zone. I might have been going 43, 4 miles an hour. I didn't want to quibble. I figured you take your ticket and go on about your business. Even if I did think I was going with the rest of the traffic, so what? I don't want to quibble about that. Just take your ticket. But I'm sitting there waiting. 5 minutes go by, still no officer. 10 minutes go by, I don't see any officer come up to the window. Next thing I know, I hear helicopter blades overhead. Then here comes some more cruisers. Here comes some foot patrols. And 17, 18 minutes into the stop, here comes the officer to the window finally, looks in, and sees me sitting in the car with, when I go to work to teach, I have, you know, a shirt, button-up shirt and a tie, and, you know, and, you know, a jacket in the back seat and, you know, slacks and work shoes. And he was shocked. You know, you could see he was taken aback because from the back of the car, all he saw was a fro. All he saw was, you know, kind of a fro. And he said, now, wait, you shouldn't have somebody with a fro sitting in a German sedan, you know, an S63 AMG, should not be sitting in that kind of car unless he stole it. Right?
He said that?
No, that he concluded that because he said, I assumed you were a flight risk.
Yeah.
Right. Well, why did you assume? What about me? What did he see that made him draw that conclusion?
Right.
You know, that I must be in a stolen car, that I must not belong in this car. That's why I present a flight risk. Right. And so, I mean, I can go down, you know, example after example of cases that prove that you might make big cash, like Stevie Wonder used to say. You might make big cash, but you cannot cash in your face as a Black person in America. And for many Black people in America, one of the Black taxes that Black people pay in America is white people's assumptions about our criminality. And, you know, I'll give you one more real quick example. And no matter how much money or fame you get, even Oprah Winfrey got discriminated against on that basis. You don't escape the Black tax. I'm down at JW Marriott a little before that, you know, waiting for Uber. There's a backstory I won't go into right now. 3 guards approached me. This JW Marriott, downtown LA.
Yeah.
Right? Fancy little hotel.
Connected to the Ritz-Carlton.
Yep. I'm sitting down and they say the 2 white ones stand back and they send the Black one over. There were 3. The 2 white ones stay back about 15 feet. The Black one walks up to me and says, "Sir, are you here to see someone?" I say, "Well, yes, I am. You know, but why aren't you asking anyone else in the lobby?" There were like 80 people in the lobby. You know, "Why are you asking me?" And he said, "Well, sir, we've been having a problem with transients, i.e. homeless people." Yes. Right? Now, I was dressed like I am now with a button-up shirt, a jacket, slacks, hard shoes. You know, I did not have a tie. That's the only thing I did not have otherwise, right? His clear implication was, of course, that I looked like a houseless person, but I wanted to hear him actually say it, even though the implication was abundantly clear. So I said, "So you're saying I look like a transient?" And he said, "Sir, don't take it personally." Then he turned around and walked away. At that point, the good thing about working in a place like USC, law school, for over 20 years, a lot of your students are out practicing law now. They're partners at firms, et cetera. So I called one at Latham Watkins and said, "If he comes back, I know he won't, but if he does, I want you to be on the phone." And I started tweeting about it. You know, back then, I said, "I know he's not going to come back, but, you know, I'm going to tweet about this anyway." He came back. This time, the other 2 were much closer. They came right up on me and he said, "Sir, what is the name of the guest you came here to see?" Now, as a criminal law professor and a tort prof, I can characterize that transaction for you legally. What he was saying was, if I don't give them a name that they can find in their guest database at that moment, I've assumed the ejectable status of a trespasser, and they were about to lay hands on me and toss me out of that lobby, right? That was the nature of that transaction. So I was presented with the choice that Black people in America are presented with hundreds of thousands of times a day. And this is that, here's the choice. I had only two choices in that situation, two and only two. One, tell him the name of Lino Garcia, my homie from A Better Chance, a program I was in that got me, into college. That I either give him Lino's name, swallow that indignity, confirm his stereotypes about me, vindicate his misperceptions of me, absorb that. It's more than a microaggression, it's spirit murder. When you keep on swallowing those indignities, that's spirit murder. Okay, so that's choice number one. You either give him Lino's name and incur that, number one, or number two, and here's the only other choice, tell him to go fuck himself. Right? That's and with choice number two, you're also going to wind up in the back of a cruiser. Right? So it's pick your poison and swallow that indignity. Right? And they're going to make it like they did with Sandra Bland, as ignominious and as possible, and as humiliating as possible. Right? So that is the dilemma, that we face over and over, and I call it the black tax, and it is why there's rage in the street, and it's why one of the reasons we saw what we saw in the summer, 6 weeks straight, night in, night out, day in, day out.
How do we fix us first? Because they've created what Malcolm X say, the house Negro and the field Negro. How do we fix us? How does that 90% become a unit with that 10% that you spoke of earlier?
Yeah. Well, we first recognize, we see through the facade, the false appearances, right? We see, for example, that when Chris Rock and other politics of respectability champions, I'll throw Barack Obama in with this crew and a number of others, but when Chris Rock says, I love Black people, but I hate niggas, and Black people are law-abiding people, and so-called N-words are law breakers, right? And that's just a moral distinction. It sounds like a moral distinction, right? Hey, I'm just calling it like I see it. You good, bad, and the evil, and the ugly. I'm just good and bad, worthy and wicked. Well, the fact of the matter is that the middle-class Black crime rates and middle-class white crime rates are almost exactly the same. There's hardly any difference between them. So most Black folks who are turning to street crime are coming from the ranks of truly disadvantaged Blacks. They're coming from backgrounds of grinding poverty, typically, right? So really, what Chris Rock was saying is, I love disproportionately the Black bourgeoisie, and I hate disproportionately truly disadvantaged Blacks. Because what you have is really a class distinction masquerading as a moral distinction. There's real class bigotry and trying to draw the line between worthy and wicked Blacks on the basis of involvement in criminal activity. Just do the math. It's just a simple math problem. This doesn't require fancy philosophical analyses, right? Either people are, if poverty is associated with crime, then either people are poor because they're bad, which doesn't make sense because people are often born into poverty, or they're bad because they're poor. That makes a lot more sense. When you take a group of people, you disproportionately concentrate them in desperate circumstances, and it should sadden but not surprise you to find them disproportionately turning to desperate undertakings like crime. All right? So, but that still means that you are dumping on poor Blacks disproportionately with your moral framework that looks so objective. That's what we mean by systemic racism. That's systemic racism and classism combined, right? It looks like, I'm just making neutral moral judgments about people who do crimes and people who don't do crime. It just so happens that people who do these street crimes are mostly poor Blacks. But that's just a coincidence. That doesn't in any way derail my point, my moral judgment in any way. Well, why doesn't it? So essentially, I'm arguing, one of the things I'm arguing is we need to radically overhaul our moral framework. We need a revolution in consciousness. And it may sound like I am tilting at windmills, like I'm saying, we need to replace, retribution, retaliation, and revenge when it comes to Black criminals. We need to replace that response with one rooted in restoration, rehabilitation, personal redemption. That radical shift. Now, when I say that, people can think and say, oh, well, that sounds like pie in the sky. Come on, who thinks like that? Who talks like that? A lot of times, kind of revolutionary ideas can, I guess, sound like that, can strike deer that way. But you know what? And I'm going to talk right now to Black folk for a moment.
Please take your time.
I talk to a lot of folk all the time, and a lot of what I have to say has a universal audience, and I'm fine with that. But I hardly go to a Black function.
Well, welcome.
A big Black function in which there aren't prayers, in which there aren't bowings of heads, mm-hmm. right? And the saying of grace.
Gotcha.
All right. And different kinds, depending on the nature of the service, different kinds of benedictions, etc. But there is a lot of real respect and deference shown to Christianity in Black gatherings, probably more than any other group, in kind of general group that I've been around a lot, that you just see that a lot. And I think, I don't have a problem with that myself. I can see why some people might, but I was just kind of raised in a Catholic Baptist kind of home and background. I see Martin Luther King and Malcolm X coming from religious backgrounds and being, fierce and social justice and all that. But I can understand people having concerns, but I want to still continue talking to those people who are in the faith and of the faith, right? And say, why is it that we as church-going folk on Sunday mornings embrace a moral framework that stresses redemption, restoration, and rehabilitation, mm-hmm. right? And, in fact, and then Monday through Saturday, we go right back to retribution, retaliation, and revenge. Right? You can't turn on the TV. You can't see a movie without retribution, retaliation, and revenge. Every narrative, every storyline, somebody's getting his or her comeuppance, getting what they had coming to them. Die slow. You're invited to say a lot of times as a villain, is perishing, a slow, torturous death or whatever. So we go back to retribution, retaliation, revenge, Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday morning, we're sitting up there again, talking about, let me put it this way. I did a play, Race, Rap, and Redemption, about Tukey Williams.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? When he was put to death. And the core question of my play, Race, Rap, and Redemption, was, should we pour liquor for Tukey? Should we express ritualistic solidarity in the form of a libation ceremony with a first-degree murderer, which Tukey Williams was, who co-founded the Crips, which he did, right? And so my play was an effort to encourage us to sympathetically identify with and ultimately even stand in solidarity with the Stanley Tukeys of the world, and to resist efforts to execute them. That was the thrust of the play. But anyway, I was talking about the play to one of my colleagues, another law professor, a Black person back east, and she said, hey, I got to tell you, a fellow Christian, and she said, I got to tell you, I think he does deserve the death penalty. He did some horrible things and co-founded the Crips. I think, how much pain and suffering they've caused? She said, I think he does deserve the death penalty. I said, okay. So, what do you think then? Okay, I'm with you. What do you think would be the appropriate penal fate then of someone who didn't kill just say 5 people like Tukey did with his own hand, but killed thousands of people? men, women, and children, completely innocent, for no other reason than their belief system. What would you think of him? Oh, easy, off with his head. I said, the person I just described is Paul, who was, before he was Paul, what was his name? Saul. What was Saul on the road to Damascus to do? Kill some more innocent Christians. So if what you think is appropriate for intentional, unjustified killers like Paul and Saul was the death penalty, if that had happened to Saul, we wouldn't even have a New Testament, because Saul, when he became Paul, went around and collected up Matthew and John and everybody else, right, to write the New Testament. So, we understand redemption, restoration, rehabilitation on Sunday morning, right? But then come Monday, we're back to retribution, retaliation, and revenge. And I'm trying in this book to have us completely throw out that retribution, retaliation, and revenge approach, because if we don't, we can never make deep cuts in racialized mass incarceration in the new Jim Crow. Because most of the people behind bars in state prisons, contrary to what Michelle Alexander says in the new Jim Crow, she's factually wrong when she says that we went from 300,000 to 2.2 million prisoners from 1980 to the mid-aughts by locking up a lot of low-level nonviolent drug offenders. That is factually wrong. As John Pfaff points out in his book, Locked In, when you look at the prison system, which is where 87% of the prisoners reside, the vast majority of them are there for violent or serious offenses, not low-level nonviolent offenses. So if we're going to make deep cuts in mass incarceration, we're going to have to change our moral framework and come up with a way to think about violent offenders that is 180 degrees different from retribution, retaliation, and revenge, but is rather rooted in restoration, personal redemption, and the possibility of rehabilitation.
Is God real? And in reference to religion and what you said?
Yeah, look good. Oh, yes. Let me put it this way. God, the power of God's as an aspiration, as a goal, and its ideal, even if you don't believe in him. And I'm not saying, I'm going to put that to one side for a moment and come right back to it. But please, even if you don't believe in him, or in a Godhead, it as a Godhead, you cannot deny that, for example, MLK, like I said, and Malcolm X were motivated by divine reflections, their own divine reflections, their own grappling with their own divine texts, and saw and drew a lot of strength and leadership from that. Religion has had a negative and a positive influence in society. Sometimes a very positive, sometimes very negative. For me, man, it's just hard for me to imagine that all of this is the result of just random chance, just random atoms, crashing in a void, in a vast, endless void, for hundreds of gazillions of years. And from all of that, we have the consciousness for you and I to sit back here and reflect on time itself, reflect on our past, our future, the meaning of life, our ultimate, our ultimate own death, and what that means, Toni Morrison, one of my favorite lines from her Nobel acceptance speech is, "We die, that may be the meaning of life, but we do language, that may be the measure of our lives." So, for me, part of the meaning of life, I get some of my meaning of life from the idea that this isn't all just the result of random chance. But I don't think you have to in order to lead a righteous life, a moral life, and a life that isn't seeking to exploit others.
Gotcha. What grade would you give Obama as president?
Man, I hate to say, you're asking me what's going to be an unpopular question to many. I would give him, as president, a C+. And I'm reluctantly going to say C+ for this reason. He came into office after the Supreme Court had appointed George Bush to the presidency in 2000. Literally, along party lines, the Supreme Court voted 5-4 along party lines to put George Bush in office in 2000. Then Bush messed up things as bad as Trump has messed up things. The argument could be made that Bush messed him up worse. Bush got us in an Iraq war that cost us $13 billion a month for 8 years, man. Okay, and got us in a failed war, in a bloody, catastrophic, kind of. Then turned his back in Hurricane Katrina on those black lives standing in the Ninth Ward on those roofs with the water up to their necks, and he put some incompetence in charge of running FEMA and letting those black lives, famish. So after all of that, and then he took us to the very brink of the Second Great Depression. A lot of people have forgotten how bad it was in 2008. We were on the brink of a Great Depression. People were talking about a Great Depression. The receipts are there. Just Google it and you'll see all the receipts. Don't take my word. Everyone was worrying about a Great Depression we were on the precipice of. I saw people, right around here in neighborhoods right around here being dragged out of their homes and all kinds of craziness. Okay. So, and mass unemployment, a big drop off in unemployment. And so against that background, here comes Obama into office, but it's not just Obama. He has the Senate is Democratic and the House is Democratic, right? You have about as much power as you're gonna have, that we've seen anytime recently, right? And what does he do? He doesn't go after one person on Wall Street who caused the collapse. Not one person who caused this meltdown, right? And they caused the meltdown through criminal conduct. I'm a law professor. I can tell you there were lots of crimes committed all over the places, and no one was held to reckon for them. No one. In fact, Holder, the Attorney General, Obama's Attorney General, after he left the Obama administration, he and many other people with him went to work for those same firms that they did not prosecute. That they refused to prosecute. Okay, then, he sent Holder out here in 2010.
Yeah, Holder. Nate Holder.
You sent Eric Holder.
Eric Holder. Nate Holder is here from LA.
Yeah, Easy. He sent Easy Holder out here in 2010. You would think, now, what we were saying, a lot of us were saying, the civil rights issue in Black America today, in 2010, we were saying this, is mass incarceration. Racialized mass incarceration. It was super clear. And the drug war is a failed drug war, and it's driving racialized mass incarceration. So what does Obama do? He sends Holder out here in 2010 to oppose marijuana legalization, right? The brunt of which, the criminalization of marijuana, the brunt of it is being borne by the Black community. By the Black community, right? Holder's out here fighting that. So I can go down a long list. Obama went to Morehouse College and preached to those young Black men about personal responsibility. What you're going to preach to? He didn't preach to the Ohio State students about personal responsibility at their graduation day. He didn't preach it to any of the predominantly white campuses he gave graduation speeches to. But he's going to take these young Black men at Morehouse who have shown a lot of personal responsibility to make it to graduation day, oftentimes against all kinds of odds, right? And preach to them about personal responsibility from politics of respectability perspective. So no, I'm giving him C+ at the most. He got through Obamacare. I'm going to give him some credit for that, even though we should have had Medicare for all, and we wouldn't be dealing with this problem now, right? Even Obamacare was going to leave millions and millions of people uncovered, right? Even in its best iteration. So Obama is a corporate Democrat. Jackie Lacey out here is a Black woman, first Black woman DA of LA County, but other black women in Black Lives Matter said, your social identity is not what you're going to get to hide behind. No, no, no. And they fought for her ouster, and she's been ousted by a non-black man named George Gaston, who is, though, more concerned about following policies that are going to help black people rather than, going for somebody in a black skin who's going to promote policies that don't help black people.
Are you, by the way, Reggie Owens in the chat says, dope conversation. I give President Obama A+. I give former apprentice Donald Trump F- to the billionth power. Yeah, he's our political analyst in the shop. Because Charlemagne raised this conversation, and I'm uncertain if you saw. I'm not going to assume you heard what Charlemagne asked President Obama, but he asked him, "What have you done specifically for black people as president?" And if I asked you that, can you think of something directly that President Obama has done directly for black people?
Oh no, he ran away from that. No, I have not heard the answer, right? I have not heard, but I can guarantee you he danced around it. I can guarantee you he went into some kind of, rising tide lifts all boats. Well, we have universalism, blah, 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 right? And you got to recognize, what we all have to recognize is that it was on Obama's watch that Black Lives Matter was born.
Wow.
Black Lives Matter said that we have to do this because you haven't been able to move the needle on this at all. And he came out and wagged fingers at them and started. I was there. I remember because we were doing a lot of Black Lives Matter organizing out here in there was a lot of it rather going on out here in LA in 2013, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, and Melina Abdullah is just such a great colleague of mine. She teaches over the Pan-African American Pan-African Studies department at Cal State LA. And so I was able to get a first seat right there in first person what went into the Black Lives Matter movement and what their concerns were and what their protests consisted of. And a lot of them consisted of the failures of the Obama administration and as well as state administrations and local administrations.
Gotcha. You want to take some phone calls from people?
Why not?
Okay, I appreciate that. And tell us, because how you answer the questions, I can tell we're going to be here as long as you want to go. So honestly, just say I'm done and that's it, because this conversation is going to go all night, because we have these conversations all night. Okay, so don't be afraid to say, nigga, I got to go. All right.
We're going at least until about 10:15.
Okay, perfect. What's up, Deacon? 305.
Hey.
Chill, man.
Hey, man, too blessed to be stressed and highly favored because God favors me.
Okay.
Yes. What's good, everybody? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, very well.
I could have swore he said he couldn't hear me, so.
He can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you can't hear him?
I can't hear.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I'll repeat what he asked. Go ahead.
I want him to hear me directly. What I need to do? Or is it on your end, Fred?
I can hear you. I don't know why.
Yeah,
That's
I can't hear anything.
Let me mute him.
That's crazy.
Can you hear him now?
Now I can.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got a couple of things. You know what I mean? One, it sounded like you was a bit confused when it came to God, whether he exists or not. Well, brother, God is real. And there's no doubt about it. God is not just some thought or some inspirational thought in someone's head. God is real. And I can contest to that, brother. You know what I mean? I can say for sure that personally, I have not lived up to what God want me to be, because at the age of 6, I knew who I was supposed to be, but I did not live up to that. But I try my best every day of my life to keep the seal of God on my forehead at all times, to speak God at all times. You know what I'm saying? I come from a praying mother who knew God, who raised me, who raised all of her children, and made sure that that seed was planted. You understand? And I have been through some things in my life. I could tell you some things like, if you didn't see it with your own eyes, it would be hard for you to believe it. But I'm telling you facts, real talk. I have challenged Satan himself, and I seen Satan fear God, not me, but the God in me shook him to his core. I was in Haiti. God ain't nothing to play with. When I say I came into the knowledge of who I was at the age of 6, I'm going to give you an example of a child with strong faith and trust in God, and trust that God would do everything that he said. I remember my mother fell and sprung her ankle, and it was swollen it was really swollen. And I asked her to let me pray for her. She said, "Come on, put your hands on me and pray for me." And I prayed for her, and I began to concentrate on God. And I said, "You say if I ask in Jesus' name, so I'm getting a little hype here, that it will be done in his name." Anyway, I prayed for her, and when I removed my hand, we watched the swelling instantly begin to go down. I backed away from her, a 6-year-old child, and asked her to get up and walk to me. She walked completely across the living room floor without a limp, without swelling in her ankle. And she never stopped talking about that since she left this world.
Deacon,
I'm just giving it to you. I'm giving you God is real. It's just so many examples. It's just when you talk about people.
You got the question?
Okay, a question. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I'm asking you. Do you have a question?
I got a lot of them.
Well, he's ready for one of them.
Okay. Okay. So I want to make sure I'm getting you. Don't let me put things in your mouth. Do you believe in God? That God is real?
What I was saying was, if we are going into any kind of situation that is multicultural, mm-hmm. right? We often want to celebrate multiculturalism, right? You have a lot of people running all over the place in university settings and corporate settings talking about inclusion, diversity, and equity, right? You hear that all the time. Well, what that means is respecting every viewpoint, respecting different viewpoints, not imposing any one viewpoint to the exclusion of others.
Okay.
Not imposing one religion to the exclusion of others. Not telling the Buddhists, you get over there in the corner and shut up because you're misguided. And oh yeah, all you others over here, you Confucians, you get over there and shut up. All right. And you over here, who are practicing this other religion, these African religions, you get over there and shut up. Mm-hmm. All right. And all of you other people, you shut up. All you Aboriginals and Australia, you get over there and shut up. Because we have a monopoly on the truth. There's only one, and all the rest of you just shut up.
Wow.
Right. Can I tell you what God told me about that? I'm finna tell you. See, it's all about having a personal relationship with God. You must know God for yourself. You have to know him for yourself, because you will be judged for yourself, not as a collective, but for yourself. So what he taught me is, there's no God but one God. But he made many different people who speak many different tongues that knows him by many different names. But universally, they know that there's no God but one God. No matter what name you call him, wherever you come from, you have to recognize the one God. And this is why I don't go by titles, because titles cause rifts between.
Last point, D. Before we get to the next, we got a lot of people in line.
Okay, listen. Okay, I'm just saying. And I just wanted to speak on that. And also, I appreciate what he was saying about as when you're dealing with the politics part of it. You was right on. You were spot on when it came to doing back when we had black folks calling for that crime bill. You know what I'm saying? I spoke on that, and that was true. And you came back and you pushed right on that, and I like that because that was true. And a lot of people don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? But it was a lot of people in our community that was calling for that. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing the outcome that it was going to carry for generations, that it was going to cause that type of pain. You know what I mean? So, and again, when you're talking about Obama, I did vote for him because he was black, even though I know that he was a centrist politician. He was more to the center. He was not far to the left, meaning that he wasn't going to do a lot for us. What my brother's keeper is not a policy. That's not a policy. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, hey man, love and appreciate you, man. It's just that he got me wound up when it came to God, bro. You know?
As he should. You in the barbershop.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Man. Hey man, I love y'all, man. Appreciate you, man. Yes, sir.
All the time. He's the resident pastor, Professor Armour. Yeah, we got a lot of love for each other. We got Terrence Bailey coming in the building, man. What's up, TB?
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Again, I can't hear him.
Okay, I got it. Can you hear him now? Go ahead, TB.
How you doing, Professor?
You can't? Go ahead, TB.
Professor, can you hear me now?
No, that's weird. Let me bring him out and bring him back in. How about now? Go ahead, TB.
Professor, can you hear me now?
Damn, that's weird.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
All right, we just going to call in. Try one more time.
Can you hear me now, Professor?
We're going to do call-ins. We'll do call-ins.
All right.
I'll see you call. No big deal. Yeah. So we'll do call-ins. What's your take on us electing Biden as president? Take your time.
Man, it's a damn shame is all I can say. You know, at the end of the day, that we're here in LA, people spent 6 weeks in a row every day. I was counting day in and day out. 6 weeks in a row, we're marching in the street with two main demands. One, criminal justice overhaul, not just reform, criminal justice overhaul, let's call it. And number two, systemic racism, getting at systemic racism. But let's go at number one, because it was that knee on George Floyd's neck that precipitated the 6 weeks of marching. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
In the video, the video that went around. So criminal justice was at the top of the agenda. And the over incarceration of black men, the new Jim Crow, all of that was front and center. You know, supporting the police state, all of that was front and center. So what do the Democrats do? They take Joe Biden, one of the architects of racialized mass incarceration himself. Joe Biden's name is on the 94 crime bill. His name is on it, literally, right? There's all kinds of tapes of him saying that Reagan wasn't draconian enough, or Bush wasn't draconian enough, or, you know, Clinton even wasn't draconian enough. And when he was asked about when the protesters said defund the police while he was running in the primary, what was his response to defund the police? $300 million more for the police, he said, you know, for community training, but $300 million more for it. I mean, it's hard to imagine a clearer slap in the face to all the people protesting than to put the architect of mass incarceration himself. And I have this in the very introduction to my book. I wrote my book long before we knew who the nominee was going to be or who the vice president was. and I singled out two people as being, real illustrations of what got us into mass incarceration, racialized mass incarceration, and new Jim Crow. I say Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Those are the two I mentioned. And then I start going into Kamala Harris's record, which is woeful. I mean, we're talking about somebody who literally came up with a law, supported a law, boosted, and then prosecuted under it that made criminals out of parents whose 16, 17-year-old children were truant, weren't in school enough. I've been 16 or 17. Try telling me what I'm going to do. Now you're going to throw my parent in a cage because of what a 16 or 17-year-old is doing? But that is the kind where Kamala Harris is coming from as a DA and as an attorney general, not holding any corrupt DAs accountable in her reign as attorney general, calling herself the top cop, mocking people who are talking about, schools rather than prisons, literally mocking them, right? So, here's where I do. I think people were celebrating after, many people I know were celebrating after the election. They weren't so much celebrating Biden as celebrating Trump's ouster. They were celebrating getting rid of Trump. That was something worth celebrating, but not celebrating. Biden said in a closed room before the election, you heard it, that to his donors, nothing fundamentally will change. Remember that statement? Nothing fundamentally will change. Well, saying nothing fundamentally, you want to take us back to where we were before 2016? Well, before 2016 wasn't so good. Down here in LA, for example, where we have the fiercest expression of structural violence in the nation, Skid Row, the highest concentration of houseless people in the nation here on Skid Row, you walk down there and you look to your left and right, 75% of those faces are black, not people of color faces, black, right? The status quo before 2016 wasn't so great for those people. It hasn't gotten any better. Those black people down there in Skid Row are like those blacks in the 9th Ward standing on those rooftops with the water up to their neck, right? They're in that kind of distress, but we don't give a damn about them because, well, they're just more black bodies, like in the 9th Ward. And I have in my book all kinds of psychological literature about that explains that relative indifference to the plight of black victims in crisis situations. There's a whole lot of psychological underpinnings to it. But at the end of the day, we all we got.
He called in. Terrence, can you hear him now?
Yeah, I can hear.
Can you hear him?
I can hear him.
Okay, great, perfect. Go ahead.
I'll start again. How you doing, Professor? What's up, Fred?
Hi.
How you feel?
Hey, no disrespect to the deacon, but when it comes to religion, what I'm saying, we as black folk have gone through a multitude of different religions over the centuries. What I'm saying? Some of us, went from ancestors went from traditional African religion to Muslim to Christian. Some of us were beaten into Christianity here. Some of us were beaten into Islam over there. When it comes to God, not everybody has the same God. God is different to everybody. That's why when talking about religion, I tell people I don't know what your God says, because maybe my God is different to me than he is to you. Everybody doesn't have the same religion. Much respect to the deacon, but everybody doesn't have the same feel on it. And when it comes down to religion, and you talk about the social issues like the LGBT community and all that stuff, the way I look at it is, I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. So as long as you're not affecting me in my life and my household, and you're not affecting me putting food on my table, you can believe what you want. I really don't care, because I ain't got nowhere to put you, because I'm not this malevolent being. Now, we was talking about the word nigger. There was a poem, Niggers in the White House, that came about when, who was it? I forgot the president's name that fast. I put it in the chat. When he invited Booker T. Washington to the White House. And then it came about again when another president, I don't know if it was Hoover or somebody, invited some African Americans there for tea. Prior to that, there was I believe it might have been an article of why the nigger is not fit to vote, and that came about because Ulysses S. Grant got the overwhelming black vote, and so when it comes to the word nigger and politics, there's a long history in it. Don Cheadle came out and said that Donald Trump said to his father, said to a friend while they were golfing, how you like having sex with that nigger girl? And that was Don Cheadle's words. You can look it up. My question to you, Professor, is how do we, reconcile? Because another issue is, I hear it a lot when people say we're not our grandparents, and they got T-shirts out saying, I'm not my grandfather. I'll do this to you, whatever. And to that I said, no, we are not our grandparents, our ancestors. Some of them are still sitting in prison right now for the things that they did in the 60s.
What's the question, TB? What's the question?
I'm saying, what is the professor's, outlook on how, it's been that word has been perpetuated all through politics for the last 100 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. The word has been used as a sharp instrument. It's been used to cut and to wound and to lacerate. No question about it, right? And it's still used that way. When Chris Rock says, I love black people, but I hate niggas, he's using it just that way, to dehumanize, to demonize, to otherize, right? It certainly has that historical meaning, and that meaning is still among us. It's still with us, right? But it also has taken on an additional meaning, a very different meaning, and antithetical meaning even to that original meaning, right? And one of the things that a lot of white students and non-black people in audiences that I'm addressing, one of the first questions I always get from them is, why, Professor, why is it that black people get to monopolize that word? Why is it that only black people get to use that word and others who try to use it, like Bill Maher? You remember when he used it and he, put his tail between his legs and apologized and brought Ice Cube on and tried to cover up because he was worried about losing his job. That's how serious it still is. People aren't playing around with it, right? It is a third rail, right? And comedians don't mess with it. A lot of people don't mess with it. And so a lot of these white students and others will raise their hands and say, why do black people get to monopolize that word, right? And the reason they're saying that is they recognize that it is a valuable cultural property, right? When Kanye West adds to his couplet, I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. When he adds that to that couplet, he's added hundreds of thousands of sales, right? It's that kind of cultural property. Bill Maher would love to sprinkle some N-words around in his punchlines. He'd love to be edgy, like that, right? Because it's a valuable cultural property. White people would love to appropriate it like they've appropriated a lot of other black cultural properties, but they don't get to. They haven't gotten to, and they don't like it, right? There have been a number of black folks who have taken that historically vile word and found new possibilities in it. But only Black people can find those new possibilities because only we are members of the targeted group. Only we have been historically targeted by that epithet. So only we can use it with irony as historical targets of it. You know, I have, you know, years ago, back in the early 90s, there was a theory that grew up in the academy called queer theory, right? And it was developed by LGBTQ folks, because even though back then it was queer was an epithet, they used it because, you know, they could. They were their historical targets of it. Sure. There's a magazine. There are a couple magazines out now with BITCH in the title, right? But they're feminist magazines. You know, they're by women. You know, for women oftentimes. You know, and so they, as members of a group that's been historically targeted with that word, they can use it in a way I can't. I'm not going to try to, frankly, to use that word anything like they're using it, because I, you know, have a lot of male privilege, you know. So it's recognizing that, you know, that it has the word, the N-word has been a word that has historically wounded, but in the hands of Black artists and writers, it can also be a scalpel that sutures the places where blood flows.
All right, sir. Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna jump off. When it comes to the N word, I think Black folk, we done FUBU'd that word. So we done made it for us, by us. So we have a thing of taking things that was meant for our bad and turning them to our good, and that's what we did with that word. But it's not so much for our good either. We shouldn't use it either. But I guess we attempted to turn the tables. And to Reggie Owens, no, I'm not mad at the brother for using the hairstyle. Good night.
And is there such thing as a Black Republican or a Black Democrat?
Yeah, you know, there certainly are people who are very much involved in the parties, have been elected as Democrats, have been elected as Republicans, and so embrace those party labels themselves. I worry that, you know, the Democratic parties takes us for granted, because, you know, they know we don't have anywhere to go. That's right. You know, and the Republican Party is still doing what the Republican Party does. So I wish I could say, you know, there was a third party that I could point to and say, you know, not only can you be a Black Republican or a Black Democrat, but you can be a Black member of this other party that isn't always the lesser of available evils that you have to settle for, right? Which is what we often wind up doing, rather than, you know, going for what I saw here in LA was jaw-dropping. You saw the people get in the streets, forget the national level. I'm very, very disappointed there, but the local level, I am in a state of awe.
I'll bring you in.
At the local level, you saw the protests in the streets turn into the election of George Gascon as the new progressive prosecutor in the largest DA jurisdiction in the nation. You had Measure J, which was basically a defund the police measure that most Angelenos supported, which takes 10% of the county's unrestricted funds, which is $8.8 to $10 billion a year, takes 10% of that and puts it into alternatives to incarceration. That's, in other words, defund the police. That's what that boils down to in so many words, you know, in practical effect. So I've seen the power of the protesters really make a difference at the ballot box when it came to these local elections. And though that gives me a lot of hope, even when I feel pessimistic about, you know, kind of how you know, we've been treated at the top of the ticket, I'm just in awe of what the grassroots organizers were able to accomplish at the local level.
Go ahead, 613.
Yes, hi.
How you doing?
Fine, how are you? I'm calling you from Canada.
Oh, welcome to the show. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I follow you on YouTube, and I'm a boxer and I'm a boxing fan, and it was
beautiful.
Thank you very much for this intellectual discourse. I was really impressed with the N-word and how you, I guess what the previous caller said, how you refubu it. I'm also a spoken word artist. I was Nelson Mandela's only international artist in residence, and I was trying to connect with Dr. Armour and connect with you because here in Canada, I don't know if you've been following what's been happening here. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening. We're listening to you.
Yeah, so I guess essentially, I live in Ottawa. I live in the capital. I used to live in California.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived in California 5 years after the riots. And what happened is that when the whole George Floyd incident hit here, like, you know, all of the white people, I'll call them the white people, you know, they acted like they were Huey P. Newton, you know, they acted like they were the most radical of radical. The prime minister with whom I went to school with, you know, was photographed taking a knee for George Floyd. Meanwhile, here in Ottawa, I don't know if you know, but Black men are getting executed left, right, and center by the police. So on one hand, you have, you know, the white leaders pretending that, you know, racism doesn't live here, sorry. But, you know, they don't, they're taking, like in Canada, they're taking a stand for police brutality in the US, but they don't address police brutality here, which is really fascinating. And basically, since I'm outspoken, I live as a prisoner of conscience here. So addressing that. And the other interesting thing is that in terms of the N-word, so I mean, I directed Canada's first slam poetry festival here. I've worked with, you know, and I don't know if you're familiar with the Last Poets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So Umar bin Hassan is my son's father, and so he had, in terms of the word nigger or the N-word, or I don't know if you could say it on YouTube or what. So he wrote that poem called, you know, "Niggers Are Scared of Revolution." Mm-hmm. So I wrote an antithesis to that poem, which was called "Niggers Are Scared of Paying for Child Support," because he never and it wasn't directed to all Black men. It was, you know, I mean, I come from hip hop as well. So you kind of like, if you look at it with Karis, One and Roxanne Shante, it's battle rap. It's an antithesis, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was really interesting how, you know, when you're targeted with a word and how you, I guess, repackage it and, you know, but it didn't go too well, whatnot. But I mean, it's really interesting. And the other thing also is that, you know, I tried to go to law school this year, and I was profiled during my LSAT. It was crazy. And I was profiled for being visual. I have a visual disability. So I was profiled for being Black and for being visually disabled. So basically, the other thing is that when you talked about the disparity of disenfranchised Black people, and, you know, that's why a lot of us aren't getting into law school, because the gatekeepers are academically screening us, and they're making sure that we don't advocate for Black people. So that was my biggest discovery. So, you know, obviously it's all like institutional racism, but I mean, this is why. And, you know, the law school admissions council wrote me a letter admitting that they tried to preclude me from entering law school. And, you know, my dream was to become a lawyer. So I don't know, I'm rambling, but I mean, I just really love this chat, and, you know, I don't know how much time I have, but I just, you know, wanted to contribute that.
You have a response. The guys in the chat say, put your Instagram in the chat. That's what they they like. We don't care what you talk about. Put your Instagram in the chat. They like.
I can't. I'll put my link. My, who I am.
First, they want to know, is she Black?
I didn't know.
She said she was Black.
Because I can't. Sorry.
No, they were like, is she Black? Because they like,
I'm Black.
I know. I heard it.
I
heard it. That's why I didn't stop you. But I'm saying they're saying in the chat, hold up. Who's this Karen on the phone? You know what I mean?
I'm not a Karen. I'm not a Karen. I actually used to live in South Central Los Angeles. I lived, I lived in the rolling 60s neighborhood, which was even trippier with my accent. It's a long story how I got there. I was supposed to get married. It didn't work. I left. Okay. But I lived in South Central, and I moved back to Canada, and I've been, here since. Like, I'm a writer. You just Google me, and I want to maybe take your email so I could connect with you after, and I could link you. I don't know if I could can I put a link in the chat?
Yeah, no, you can't,
so
because you're not a moderator. But if you send it to me, email it to me.
Okay, what is your email?
FHAW17
Okay, SHAW17.
F as in Frank, HAW17 @gmail.com. Appreciate
so F, the letter F?
FHAW17 @gmail.com.
Okay, hang on. I'll do that right now. Hang on.
Thank you.
But yeah,
you got another question or no?
No, I just really wanted to throw in my perspective, and I just really, I'll be listening. I'll do that right now.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All the time. Appreciate it.
Thank
What's
you.
your take on Ice Cube's plan and his meeting with Trump team?
Man, I'm missing something. I guess I'm somehow missing part of this discussion, because I keep hearing about Ice Cube endorsing Donald Trump before the election. Right? I've heard that over and over, and I haven't yet seen the endorsement.
Gotcha.
Where's the endorsement? I'm looking for the endorsement. I'm really serious about this. When we got one thing we got to be clear on is facts, right? We at least got to get our facts straight.
Right.
Right. And so if factually, if somebody endorses somebody, you'll typically see some kind of endorsement statement, some kind of endorsement. It's not an is it automatically an endorsement when I talk to anybody? When I talk to a candidate, any candidate, does that mean I automatically endorse that candidate? I just want to understand the rules. Tell me what the rules are.
Gotcha.
Okay, if it is the case that anytime I talk to any candidate, I endorse them, then I must endorse candidates all over the place. I'm talking to lots of different candidates, and a lot of times they're running for the same office.
Right. So
how can the mere fact that I'm talking to a candidate,
right,
mean that I endorse them? Help me out. I don't see the math on that. And once that's gone, once you tell me there was no endorsement, then what's so many people clutching their pearls about? What's all the pearl clutching about? If you have one party, the Democratic Party, that is taking for granted Black people's concerns, when you look at what Bill Clinton did and Joe Biden to contribute to the new Jim Crow, to the most pressing civil rights issue of our day, the mass incarceration of Black men and women, right? When you look at what those Democrats did to hobble 2 generations of Black people, right? Then you're going to tell me that somebody says, I want to at least look at what somebody else is saying so that I have some maybe even leverage against you, but I can't even talk to anybody without folks calling me a traitor? What the hell is that? So you truly are captive to one party. You can't even talk to another party, right? You can't even talk to another party without being a traitor.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It is. It's completely nuts. And so I don't know where to start, man. I'll be honest. I had Ice Cube in my Race, Rap, and Redemption, show, the play I put on 10 years ago. Over 10 years ago, he just had put out Laugh Now, Cry Later. And, I heard somebody who was trying to take political issues that affect the Black community seriously. Is he a political scientist? No. Is he likely to make mistakes like anybody? Yes. You know, does he deserve some benefit of the doubt because he's, you know, tried to do things in the past, and you kind of see what kinds of things he's done in the past and compare him to the present? All I know is I don't want to get into all of that as so much as the idea that you cannot talk to anybody but the Democratic candidate about what the party, a given party, can do for Black people without being, you know, damned as a Benedict Arnold.
Gotcha. We got a caller. 267. What's up?
What's up, Fred?
How you feel? How you feel?
I'm doing well. What's going on, Prof? How you doing?
All right, good.
All right, good. This is LeVar. I'm calling from Philly, man.
Yep.
And I have three questions. They quick. First one is, you said that Obama had the majority House, with the Senate and the House Representative when he first came in.
Yep.
Do you believe that all those white liberals was for a new young Black man coming up?
Well, I don't think they had to worry about him. They didn't have to worry about you know, this particular young Black man coming up, because this particular young Black man coming up was a corporate neoliberal Democrat. And so his philosophy was perfectly aligned with their philosophy. He wasn't going to do anything radical. He wasn't coming in talking like Bernie Sanders. He wasn't really coming in talking about universal basic income or Medicare for all, or, you know, anything, you know, redistributing wealth and power, you know, in a significant way. He wasn't talking any of that, right? So they were happy to embrace him. He said, look, he says this in his own memoir that he's recently written, that one of the reasons he was bombing weddings and killing whole families with drones mistakenly, you know, that we all heard about, you know, when he first went into office, was he didn't want to look soft as, you know, the first Black president. So he was being more hawkish than the hawks, you know, because he didn't want to look too, you know, progressive. You know, he was sending out Eric Holder to resist, you know, legalizing marijuana, decriminalizing a generation of Black youth, you know, because he didn't want to look too progressive, you know. So I think that, you know, Obama is himself a corporate neoliberal Democrat who was never really a threat to the status quo.
Gotcha. Might I add to that, just our very presence sometimes threaten them too. Even if we ain't talking out of turn, or we buck dancing, shucking and jiving, just our presence alone will just get them riled up. But I concede the point.
I feel you on that. Let me just throw this in though. You know, one of the worst things that happened to us ever on the Supreme Court in this nation was a Black man named Clarence Thomas being put on the Supreme Court. You know, he doesn't make them uncomfortable. He makes them very comfortable. You know, they love seeing Clarence Thomas come down the hall. You know, they could not be happier than to see good old Clarence.
And next question, Prof. Can you speak about the filibuster? Because that's on Charlemagne's interview that Fred referenced earlier. Obama spoke about something about it called a filibuster that I never heard of, in which he said that, you know, less than majority had to, you know, the Senate could block a lot of bills, and that was started during the civil rights era to block a lot of civil rights bills. Can you speak on that from a law perspective?
Yeah, just the idea, the basic idea is this, that if somebody is filibustering, that is, they've taken the floor and they're speaking, and they are speaking and they are speaking. They keep on running their mouths, and as long as they run their mouths, nobody can vote. And so if a minority, let's say you have in a particular Senate, you have 55 Democrats and 45 Republicans. Typically, if it goes to a vote, the 55 Democrats will get it to pass. If it's a Democratic piece of legislation, some different Democratic law, they have 55 votes, they should be able to get it passed, right? Not if one of those 45 Republicans stands up and starts a filibuster. That is, he or she starts taking the microphone and talking into it, and talking and talking and talking until they don't get a chance to vote. And to make them stop the filibuster, to end the filibuster, doesn't take just 50 votes. It takes 60 votes to stop a filibuster. So the minority party, even though you only have, the Republican Party only had 45 votes, if one of you gets up there and takes the mic and the other 44 of you, doesn't say stop the filibuster, you can just talk on it. They've had people stand up there and talk for 2 and 3 days, just read children's stories into the microphone, half falling asleep, just keeping droning on in order to not get the necessary supermajority vote to kill the filibuster, so that they could then go on and vote on the main bill that they did have the 55 votes for. So it can be good if you're in the minority party, right? Because you can stop a lot of stuff with your 45 votes. But it's bad if you're in the majority party. If you have those 55 votes. If you want a filibuster-proof majority, you have to get 60 votes or more. Then you don't have to worry. Somebody from the opposite party can stand up and start talking, and you can just vote them out. You can end the filibuster, by voting them down. So yeah, that's what he's talking about. But I'm not sure that'll make as big a difference as people think it will. What you have is two parties, two wings of the same corporate party. You have the Republicans and Republican lights in some ways. The Democratic Party this time, over the last 4 years, when they controlled the House, they gave Trump everything Trump wanted. They gave him the military budget he wanted. They gave him the $2 trillion tax cut, mostly for the wealthy, that he wanted. They gave him, there was hardly anything he wanted that the Democrats in the House didn't give him in votes that they could have stopped, right? So I really don't know if the filibuster is going to change. It's going to take, Black folk doing what they did here in LA at the grassroots level, making radical changes, like they did here with Measure J, with bringing in George Gascon, with doing really foundation-shaking stuff.
Gotcha. And last, you said you are a fan of Black Lives Matter?
Yep.
All right, and coupled with that, I want to slide this in. I'm gonna jump off the phone. You're a fan of Black Lives Matter, and you said also. Well, no, I'm asking you: are you a fan of socialism compared to capitalism?
Yep, absolutely.
Can you give me an example of where socialism worked in what country? All right, yeah. I'm out in Black Lives Matter. Also, can you speak about the George Soros and a lot of the gay connection, where it seems as though a lot of gay people and benefit more so off Black Lives Matter? How it's just like being coupled in, off of our blood, sweat, and tears.
Sure.
All right, gentlemen. Sure. I'm gonna jump off the line. I'm looking forward to hearing your answer,
sure.
Prof. Did I make it clear?
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. BLM, Black Lives Matter, is the most consequential, and we'll probably have to call it a night after this. I'm going to have to cut out, unfortunately, but Black Lives Matter is the most consequential political social movement of our day, of our generation. It is generational in its scope. People who've been around, I wasn't that aware of political matters in the 60s, but people I talked to who are around in the 60s tell me we haven't seen a political moment like this since the late 60s, when people were resisting the Vietnam War. At the same time, they were fighting for Black liberation and women's rights, and it all came together at once. LGBTQ rights. Everybody was fighting for liberation. It seemed at once it came in a big wave, and it was really hitting in the late 60s. You know, by the time Reagan came in the early 80s, a lot of that was crushed. It started to get crushed somewhat in the 70s. But Black Lives Matter has totally changed the conversation nationally. I remember back in 2013, 14, 15, you know, it was birthed by the jury's verdict in in favor of George Zimmerman after he shot Trayvon Martin as Trayvon was out picking up his Skittles and Arizona iced tea. And then it really took off as a hashtag Black Lives Matter with the Mike Brown incident in Ferguson, of course, Missouri. But people often ask, you know, well, what was how has it moved the needle? How has it changed things? Well, look here in LA. You know, the reason you had the George Floyd phenomenon, that's all you can call it. It is a generational phenomenon. When we saw here in LA and around the nation, 6 weeks in a row, day in, day out, of people filling the street, the reason you had that unprecedented moment was because Black Lives Matter had laid the foundations for it in 2014, 15, 16, when the cameras went away in 2016, 17, 18, right? They stopped covering the Black Lives Matter marches and organization stuff. The organization itself kept its infrastructure strong. It kept developing its sinews of connection. They were down here every Wednesday, every week for 3 years, rain or shine. Black Lives Matter was in front of Jackie Lacey's office, protesting her not prosecuting killer cops, right? They kept that organization strong and alive until that George Floyd incident came along, and then the movement jumped on the infrastructure that Black Lives Matter had already built, and you had our George Floyd experience, this phenomenon we all just saw. But that didn't come from nowhere. That was the result of the hard work of Black Lives Matter, day in, day out, when the cameras went away. These Black women mostly, and a lot of them, yes, are LGBTQ members. They say you have to approach this movement intersectionally. Now, they would say, rightly, I think, that yes, the LGBTQ members of the Black community need to be recognized and acknowledged more and embraced more, but that doesn't mean that you're being exclusionary, that you're not also embracing straight, cis brothers and sisters as well, and that they aren't benefiting from the movement. For example, here in LA, when you bring in George Gascon as a progressive prosecutor and you bring in Measure J, you know, which is defund the police, that mainly helps, you know, all the Black community. It doesn't help any one particular part of the community. You know, and if the largest part of the Black community is straight, which it happens to be, then the movement mainly helps straight people. So straight people can't really complain about it at all. It also helps LGBTQ members, you know. Well, you know, can you begrudge the movement helping LGBTQ members when they are putting it on the line and helping to fuel the movement? You know, you can't accept the benefits of the movement and reject the people who are helping to create and fuel the movement, you know. And so, yes, it does demand of all of us that we become more inclusive, and it's sometimes uncomfortable. It can be tough because it cuts against some of our traditional ways of approaching things and thinking about things. But, you know, maybe it's sometimes good to move beyond those traditional boundaries, because at one time Jim Crow was tradition. You know, at one time slavery was tradition. You know, there are a lot of things that seem normal and traditional, but if one group of people keeps saying tradition is hurting us, tradition is marginalizing us, then maybe we have to listen to those voices so we don't inflict on others what has been inflicted on us.
Gotcha. Makes a whole lot of sense. And my co-host is he usually closes the show with me, DB, and he's from LA too, as a matter of fact, from your neighborhood, as a matter of fact. Go ahead, DB, because he's about to get out of here.
How you doing, Professor?
All right, how are you?
Good, good. I just wanted some parting, and it's a bit personal before you take off. The question I'd like to ask you is something that we always ask each other, you know, in the neighborhood growing up, is outside of your direct bloodline, who are 3 people that you'd like to have dinner, spend an evening with, dead or alive?
Oh yeah, nice question, man. You know, the person who I want to cry every time I read her because she writes so well, and I know I can never, you know, write at her level, is Toni Morrison. You know, I've read her through the years. She's really moved me. So she would be, you know, right there at the top of the list, needless to say. And then, you know, you've asked a tough man. You limited me to 3, and you know that always makes it the hardest. You really forced
Actually,
me.
you know what? The question was actually 5, but since you were pressed for time, I changed it actually to 3.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna go with that then. Good. Okay, so you know, I got Toni in there. You know, one of the brilliant geniuses of the 20th century was W.B. Du Bois. I'd love to hear what he has to say and break down. I mean, his mind was so sharp. You know, he really was. We still don't give him as much credit as we should for his brilliance. You know, and all the rest. So you know, he would have to be real high. You know, real high. You know, I would frankly love, and I hate to say this. This is part of the, I don't know, the male in me. I don't know, the sports fan, the kind of guy who likes to watch Gladiator and do some stuff. I'd like to talk to Hannibal. You know, General Hannibal, and understand how he went over the, you know, the pass on the elephants, and you know, descended on the Romans and was whooping behind, you know, as this African general. So I would, you know, but that's a guilty pleasure. You know, I put that on the list because, you know, I don't like to glorify violence that much. You know, on the one hand, sometimes you have to fight though to defend yourself. I understand that too. So now I'm down to the last 2, and you say they got to be historical figures. Man, there's still a whole lot out there. I'm going to, man. Shoot, you know, I hate to leave the spiritual out. I played the trumpet myself. I played through college. So Clifford Brown was a great trumpet player, died at 26 years of age. I think if he had lived, he would have changed the sound of jazz forever. You know, I'd like to bring Clifford back, but you know, the spiritual realm, man, you know, I'd have to lump number together. I'd have to try to throw in, you know, Jesus, Muhammad, and the Buddha, man. You know, I want to sit down. Maybe I'll put those 3 at the top and then fill the other 2 out. Because, you know, I really want to get a sense of the spiritual insight that those folks have. And it's something that I'm striving for every day. So I'm sorry for that poor answer. I should have thought about it a little more, but that's the only one I can blurt out now.
No, that's phenomenal. I think now for me, I have to go back and of course I know all these people. I'm not too familiar with Clifford Brown, but all the other figures, you know, very prominent figures in society in our lives. But I'm gonna have to go back and do a little more research, you know, on each one of these people. To see just why they're so phenomenal and why you chose these people, man. I really appreciate the answer. And I know it was just off the cuff, and really appreciate it, and appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come down to the barbershop with us, man. Much appreciated. And we look forward to having you in the shop again soon if possible.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brothers.
Yeah, you got to come back because you mentioned W. Du Bois, so that means we got to have this conversation about, you know, where I'm going. E.B. Du Bois, Garvey, Booker T.
Yes.
Douglas. We got to have this conversation, man. Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman. Next time we come back, we gonna dig into the crates, man. We gonna dig into the crates, man. And I appreciate you, producer Patty. She set this up, man. Phenomenal, man. And thank you for raising the intellectual property in the barbershop. Appreciate you.
Thank you, my brothers. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed myself a lot. Look forward.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you all the time. Hey, man, that was fun. What's
up? More than fun.
That was right. That was fun.
Yeah. You know, it's going to come to a point where we're going to have to stop saying "good job, Patty." We expect it now, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was definitely top tier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was fun.
He puts me in the mind of Cornell West as well.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Just an intellectual, and you know, unfortunately, he's at that school off of Figueroa. But other than that, man, you know, I got nothing bad to say about the guy. Man. It was truly enlightening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did you think about that list?
Yeah, I was, you know, I thought when he was thinking about Hannibal, I thought he was going to say Hitler. I thought he was going to say Hitler because I'm very curious about Hitler. I'm very interested. I would have liked to spend the day with Hitler. And as crazy as it may sound to an American mind, you understand, I'm very interested. I mean, on a wavelength, and you guys got to accept this conversation. We're doing this fiscally all across the world. America is. You know what I mean? The same thing Hitler is doing with them bodies. We're doing it fiscally as Americans and stripping resources, making Chinese people, Indonesian people, Indian people work for 3 cents a day. You understand what I'm saying? So what's the difference? Live the rest of your life making 3 cents an hour, 10 cents a day, you know what I mean? Or dying, you know? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm just, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying that it was a great conversation. So, I definitely would love to sit down with Hitler though. I would love to sit down.
So I'm not sure if you know this, but Dr. Khalid Muhammad actually studied Hitler to see if he could find him as a, you know, as a freak of nature, as a phenomenon. And after he studied him, he said that he found out that there was a whole lot of Hitler and a whole lot of white folk, you know, but he did study him to try to, you know, to try to understand his mind and his way of thinking a bit. And it wasn't nothing special.
Maybe we'll do a show on Hitler. I don't know. Maybe go outside the box for a little bit. Just world leaders, you know, Napoleon. We can go all of them. Maybe we'll do a show on world leaders. You know, we're not gonna have a lot of people in there that night, but it'll be a great conversation to have. You know, but we got to do our homework for a week or two and then come back in. You know, so
before we dive into Clarissa Shields, Tone Brown, and whatnot, I want to get your list real quick, just off the top list. Ooh. And I'm gonna handcuff you a little bit.
I can't say Malcolm. I can't say who else I can't say.
Just Malcolm, because we already know that he's there. You know.
All right. Okay, let's. Fred Hampton.
Okay.
Fred Hampton. I would want to. Who's the president? Who is the president? I would want to have Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ, to get all the answers to all the fucking questions I have in my brain as it pertains to the civil rights movement. How many I got to name?
That's 2. You got 3 more.
Okay, damn. Oh man. Elijah Muhammad. I don't know who I would choose: Frederick Douglass, Booker T, Du Bois, or Marcus Garvey. I don't know who I would choose out of the 4, but one of them, if I had to choose one, that's a tough question, man. It depends on what type of mood I'm in. Shit. I definitely would want to have a conversation with Harriet Tubman. I would want to live as a day as Harriet Tubman, be honest, which I would want to be her. You know, I want to know what happened with all that fucking money with Marcus Garvey. I really would like to know. So I don't know who's in charge of the FBI. I want to know. I would want to know. So I don't know who I would be to get the answers to that question. I don't know who would I be? I don't know who the president was then. I can't think of it. But I know they had to meet. I'm trying to think. I don't know who the president was in 21, 25, somewhere in there. I don't know who the president was, but whoever is in charge then of the financials, I would like to know. I don't know who that is though. The president of whoever the president is in the 20s. Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson. So it'll be Andrew Jackson then. Yeah. And yourself. No, I wasn't reading it. Fred, you want to cross?
What do you say?
I said, Fred, you want to cross? I want the answers though. You know what I mean? Like Marcus Garvey, I don't think is. I want the answers on all four of them. Because when I read Marcus Garvey books, W.E.B. Du Bois was neutered, right? When I read Marcus Garvey book, when I read W.E.B. Du Bois, you know, he was a dark-skinned nigga, Marcus Garvey. You get what I'm saying? So I would want to know like the truth, and I would want to know the facts, and I am able to disseminate the actual truth. You know, he said I couldn't use Malcolm X. He said I couldn't use. That's number 1 through 5. I don't want nobody else but Malcolm. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, man. That's it. That's my 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You know, I honestly wouldn't want to talk with nobody else. But I would like to know. I would like to know the conversations between Murad Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad, because Murad was a white man. And did I say his name right? Farad. Thank you, Farad. Thank you, Farad. Because he was a white man from Detroit, right? Detroit. Yeah. So I would like to see that.
Came from Middle East, but
yeah, it came from. So I would like to see that transition, and because Elijah is from Mississippi. Where's he from? Alabama.
Now it's funny that you say Master Farad. You go to he's a white man like that. Anyhow, good list, Fred.
No, help me. He was a
no. You know what you're doing.
No.
Anyway, anyhow,
what was his his nationality for real though? He was a white skin man.
Anyhow, you got Malcolm X from that.
Yeah, we got Malcolm X from that. Yeah. Okay.
There you go. So
So
boy, you are the great agitator. You know, you're like, Errol gonna beat Danny, but
no, Errol gonna beat his ass. I saw it today. Errol gonna beat the brakes off of Danny. Oh man, he gonna beat the brakes off of Danny. Oh my God. He gonna beat the brakes off of, man. When I say he gonna beat the brakes off Danny, Errol gonna beat the fucking shit out of Danny, dog. I saw it today. I saw it. I'm convinced. Danny ain't got no answer. If Errol is responsible, he gonna break him down. He gonna saw him down. 9th round, it's gonna look like, God damn, Danny. Come on, Danny.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Tone Brown, you still in here?
Oh, TB, we gotta hear that story, dog. How was your birthday, man?
TB, where you at?
Do I need to open up another phone line? What about
Elron? Let's just see if TB is in here first. As soon as you say phone line's open, somebody gonna call about Lord knows what.
Triple OG wanted to call and I couldn't get you in, man. I tried. I saw you, but every time you
Donald Grant? OG Donald?
Yeah.
No, TB, there you go. He in there. TB, call in.
I don't see him. I ain't seeing him.
TB right there.
Oh yeah, okay. Call in, big homie. Man. Oh shit. Damn, just happened? Okay, we're back. I went dark for a minute. Okay, cool. All right.
Was that a joke, Fred? You went dark for a minute?
No, it was with Rachel Dolezal, but none of y'all got it.
Yeah.
None of y'all got that shit when I said it when she was on.
That was Rachel that called in from Canada a little while ago.
Oh man, the birthday nigga. What's up, man?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, the birthday. I mean, it was good, you know what I'm saying, but the mission didn't go well.
Okay, run us through it.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got high and shit, you know what I'm saying? We smoked some woods and shit. We smoked some backwoods.
So
yeah,
wait, you and how many chicks? Like, what was the run us through it? Where they take you to? Y'all, what basement y'all end up in?
Basement, no. Yeah, like the hoes, they wasn't around. Like the hoes wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? They were still on the vacation. So nah, yeah, I didn't get no hoes and shit. It was a mission field.
Wait, hold on. So your homies come to scoop you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we finna get you high tonight. It's Friday. It's your birthday. You ain't got a job and you ain't got shit to do. So they come scoop you up. They got backwoods, zigzags, everything, right? They come scoop you up. Now, who's supposed to call the girls?
Well, they was looking for. They was scrolling through their contacts. They was trying to get them. They was trying to find something. You feel me? For all of us, really to have, but it wasn't really like none around. You feel me? Especially because like it was Thanksgiving and shit, so it wasn't really like no hoes and shit. So we just like said fuck it. So we just got high. We just got high as fuck. Yeah.
Okay. Did y'all play Madden?
Nah, we just smoked blunts and we just reminisce.
Oh, okay. Back when y'all was in y'all 20s?
Yeah, like we was teenagers and shit.
Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah.
And how many of y'all was it?
It was like 5 of us.
Oh, okay. And nobody couldn't get nothing for you, huh? On your one day, huh?
Yeah.
All right, TB. Well, glad you got high. That's something new. But yeah, man, we can't wait for you to get down here to LA, man. We're gonna take you on a little drive. Yeah. So that matter of fact, that's what you should have did. You should have just got on the plane and just came down here. You know, you got 5 homies that couldn't make it happen. Between me and Fred, yeah, you gonna go back in a wheelchair probably. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have you on all type of man. Talk about what Fred say: red bones, dark bones, caramel macchiatos. You know what I'm saying? Two strippers, 1 hooker, all type of shit. So yeah, going and get down here, man. Book a flight, man. So we can go on and put your put you back on the map.
For sure. Yeah, well, I'm back in the chat. Appreciate y'all.
All right, bro. All right,
Juan. Appreciate you. Yeah, nigga had a failed mission. Nigga, how many niggas he said was there? How many niggas?
5 other niggas.
5 other niggas. 5 other niggas. 5 other niggas. 5 other niggas. Dun 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 dun. 5 other niggas.
Caesar, he from the Shy.
Yeah,
he in Chicago.
Caesar was at the party. Oh man, I left it open one time too. Fuck. All right, nigga, what you want? What's up, man?
Asia.
No, it's 202. What's up?
What's up, man?
How you feel, man?
What's
popping?
Man, I've been in the chat, dropping some gems, and I see nobody ain't mention it. So I just think I should just get on the chat and just talk this shit. Well, not shit, but gems.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think our people need this. And from what I'm saying, things is not going to get any better. So I just think,
who is this, by the way?
Oh, this one.
What's your name in the chat?
Nate
Johnson.
Yeah. So
right on, brother Nate.
How you doing? So I just think that it's just it's just important that people need to know the ugly truth about this entire system. We all know the basic about slavery, this and that, but Do they know about the contracts, the Geneva Convention, the treaties, all these little things that paved the way to why we're in the position that we are in now? I think a lot of people don't. And I just think we need to re-educate ourselves on what's going on. And I'm going to just start with the fact that do people look at their birth certificate and actually look up what that actually is? Do people even know what's in it? What does it entail? Do people actually read it? I mean, let's be honest. When you read it, it just says, well, basically you just giving your child's life basically over to the government if you really look into it. People don't understand that shit. People don't understand that when you sign your rights or your children's rights in the birth certificate form on that paper, you're basically giving the government rights over to them, their rights, and for the corporation. And I know some people gonna be like, oh, this ain't true. This is just a lie, conspiracy theory, or whatever it is. But this is facts. And this has been documented before by people in the know. And I just think people need to understand what does that lead to. That means that you have to pay this to the government. You have to pay your taxes. All these things that's basically unconstitutional. And we're up here talking about politics. In a system, they don't care about us. They don't care about our voice. They don't care about our power. They've shown it time and time again. Time and time again. What does that tell you? They don't give a fuck. Now, I hear some people say they want to get militant minded. Be my guest. That never ends well, especially in a country that knows what you're doing and how you're doing it. My thing is this. I think people need to get back their power. And this time we go through the papers. That's how they took our power away. That's how they took everything from us, through paperwork, contracts. They lied to us. And I know some people are going to be laughing at this like it's a lie. But these are conversations that people don't want to talk to. They displaced us. They displaced who we truly are. Our heritage, our culture, our language, everything. Our names. We're talking about hoes, strippers, celebrities. Fuck all of them. Why are we talking about them? We need to be talking about how we can get actually out of this situation that we're in. Politics is just a fucking sham. It's a game that they're fucking playing. The system is playing to distract us from the fact that we basically forked over our children and then their children's basically rights through the birth certificates. And I can tell people how you can change that and get that done. What they're doing is they're committing fraud. They're lying to us every single day, and we don't even know it. We think we do, but we truly don't. If you're paying for something that you know you shouldn't be paying for, why pay for it? Because you have to. You don't think about that. And I know people are going to be just thinking, it's always going to be people that just think that, yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But I guarantee you this, you do enough research, you do your fucking homework, don't read into all some fucking bullshit because of what Webster told you or some fucking necessarily a college told you. Look it up yourself. They didn't always have universities in this world. People learned through themselves. They did their own homework. And I think it starts with us. We need to wake up, truly wake up. I'm not talking about that old wake up bullshit about marching and all this. No, let's get our statuses corrected. Let's get our statuses corrected. Let's correct our birth certificates. Let's correct our social security. All that shit that we gave to these motherfuckers. Because we gave it to them. But we didn't know. Our parents didn't know. And their parents didn't know. They didn't know this. They're not going to tell you what they put in these contracts. They're not. They're in the business of fucking fraud. And it's called, I need to look up Armour laws, maritime laws, and the black laws. Read up on everything I just said. I'm telling you, this is how they commit fraud on a major scale on every last single one of us. And they keep a vicious cycle through generations that never knew about this shit. Now, of course, there's some people out here who do know. And guess what? They're getting their statuses corrected. They're getting their statuses corrected. They're doing things that, if I tell you some of the things that they're doing, you wouldn't believe it. Put it like this. Y'all wouldn't believe this shit. I would think that's not real. But it is, because they're correcting their statuses. These people in this government, they know about this shit too. But they're not going to tell you. Of course not. Because if every single one of us knew about this shit, their whole scheme in the system will be over. Now, I'm going to drop some links to some of the stuff in the chat so people can do their own research. Now, it's on you if you don't want to believe it, but I'm telling you.
Okay, yeah, we're going to finish that conversation over at Reggie Owens in a little while. He's in the chat and he's liking the conversation. So we'll Reggie Owens, Real Rap. We'll talk about some of the treaties and stuff over at Reggie.
Oh yeah, Real Rap. Oh, you definitely gotta. Oh yeah, you and Real Rap have a good live. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
But thanks for that convo, man. And go ahead and drop those links in the chat real quick.
No problem.
Appreciate you.
All right, appreciate you, brother. All right.
Oh
Clarissa
man.
Shields.
Yeah, him and Real Rap need to rap. Hey,
yeah.
Hey, what's the term they use? We need to build offline. Yeah, we need to build. Yeah, y'all niggas go ahead and go build. You know what I mean? Let me know if it's dual dwelling. You getting over that sickness, huh?
Yeah. I just got a little cough that still persists, but other than the cough, yeah, I'm able to. Man, I didn't complain online, man, but I was hurting bad, man.
I bet.
I was stuck in bed, man, and luckily on Friday and Saturdays we off because, man, that gave me some time to really just lay down and get right. But yeah, your boy was hurting bad, bad. But yeah, man, I want to get on this Clarissa.
Yeah. I know nothing, so you're the expert. I'm just gonna sit and listen to you.
All right, so PFL is a Professional Fighters League. It's MMA. It's an MMA organization, just like Bellator and the UFC. The thing with PFL is they fight in like a series, like a season. So they have right now. They have the 2020 season. I think they just finished a part of the tournament, right? So starting 2021, they're going to start another tournament again, and then the following year again. So according to, the folks that I know and talk to and whatever, she's not going to compete in 2021 tournament. She's going to compete in the 2022 tournament. So I guess she's trying to give herself some time to, to get acclimated to MMA, learn takedowns and submissions and, all of that stuff. In my personal opinion, it takes much, much longer than a year. I think the good part is that she's a high level, sophisticated striker in terms of like just the boxing, but you got to incorporate knees and, kicks and all that stuff. So, and I know sometimes people see other people do it. I think Kayla, what's her last name? Kayla Harrison or Kayla Richardson. I think it's Harrison. She did it. And she actually did pretty well, but she was training for a long time and she grew up as a wrestler. She was kind of like Terrence Crawford, grew up like wrestling first and then got into boxing after that. Gotcha. So I think then also people see Kimbo Slice and, a few other people, whatever, but they think the transition is easy. Her big thing is to still try to get in the ring and fight Amanda Nunes, and she's competing at lightweight, which is, I think, a big, big mistake for her. Lightweight for the women, it means she's going to be fighting at 155 pounds. I mean, you got to think about it. The people that are going to fight you are also going to be at 155 pounds, but these people are these girls are probably usually walking around at 175 and in the 170s. And I'm not sure how tall Clarissa Shields is, but the other chicks that are probably fighting in MMA that's fighting at 155 are probably between, I don't know, maybe 5'7" and like 5'10". Like there'll be some pretty big chicks. So she's got to think about these chicks being on top of her, weighing 170 pounds on fight night, take her down and gonna be smothering her with their legs wrapped around hers, you know what I'm saying, with her face, her head smashed into the canvas, with them, blocking her nose and her mouth and constantly going for submissions. And yes, it's tough, man. So, I hope she does well, but I don't want her to do well enough to think to get cocky and think she can get in there with somebody as high level as like a Cyborg or even Holly Holm, you know what I mean, who came over from boxing as well, or Amanda Nunes, because they just have too many tools for her to catch up on in a 1 year period. And you know, but she's you know, a boxing world champion, Olympic, 2-time gold medalist. So she'll have some concessions. You know, she may like skip round 1 or round 2 and then go in later on into the series or whatever. But she may be able to beat, you know, some relatively new girls to the league, or some young girls that's not as experienced. But 2022, man, for her to enter a tournament is just, in my opinion, I think it's just a bit too much, too fast. But, you know, we wish her all the best, man, and we'll see. By the way, PFL is also not like a feeder. There's man, what's the name of the company? There's a company called Invicta, and that's all women's MMA. And that's the feeder program for the UFC. So all the chicks that, well, not all, but a great majority of the chicks that come into the UFC are coming from Invicta. And those girls are really, really good too. But yeah, she's fighting with the PFL, and I don't know. I mean, I guess the level of competition is not as good as Invicta or the chicks in the UFC, but you know, we shall see. We shall see. And you know, I'll keep listening.
Is that a well-paid league, or is it just?
No, they pay pretty decent.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people hear the names like the UFC and automatically assume that that everybody's getting paid well. And a company like the UFC, they top heavy. So, you know, you take Israel Adesanya, you know, you take John Jones, Conor McGregor, Khabib, and maybe 6 other people. Like literally that's it. And those are the only guys that are making good money. There's nobody, you know, you Nate Diaz, George Masvidal. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of more than a dozen guys that are actually making good money. Everybody else, man, is real, like it's real shoddy, you know. When my cousin fought, he had they gave him a 15 and 15. You know what I mean? This was a few years ago, but they're not allowed to get those contracts. And when I say 15, I meant 1,500. So he fought for $3,000. You know what I'm saying? And he got 1,500 because he lost the fight, right? So yeah, the UFC, they're not paying people that well. You know, Dana White loves for the guys to do a Bob. What's his name? Bob Hope. What's his goddamn name? Errol. He wants guys to get out there and promote themselves and to, you know, engage in fuckery, you know, throwing dollies at buses, beating up their girlfriends. Dana White actually likes that kind of shit. If somebody makes a bigoted comment, he's all in for that because he knows that's going to go well with the advertising and the marketing package.
Right.
And when it's leading up to the fight, all of those bigots in Nebraska and Oklahoma and Ohio and Iowa, you know, all of those country bumpkin wrestlers that follow the sport, those dudes get amped up about that shit. And then you take us all on the edges, New York, Chicago, Detroit, LA, whatever, right? We look at that shit and we like, fuck that dude, right? And so we start fighting with each other. The fans start fighting with each other. And it ends up having that Floyd effect. You know, you want to see that bigot get his ass whooped. So you tuning in or buying the fight just to see him lose. So yeah, it's a dirty business, man. It's just as corrupt. It's just as wicked as boxing. I think some of the only good things or one of the best things is you just got one asshole in Dana White that you got to deal with versus dealing with Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Oscar De La Hoya, you know, Frank Warren, dealing with a whole bunch of different assholes. You just got one in Dana White. But anyway, man, I keep my ear to the street and I keep you posted.
Yeah, please. That'll be good because I know nothing. What Mike Tyson pay-per-view numbers came in? Someone just put in the chat.
Uh-oh, what was it?
I'm Googling it now. Anybody know the numbers? Mike Tyson
Real rap. He said, save you some time. Just say Middle America. Yeah, you're right, Real Rap.
Wait, I'm trying to find it.
Whoever posted those numbers, post them again. Put them in the chat again.
What's the numbers? Shit, they said he did great numbers. Boy, if they did great numbers, they coming right back.
Yes, Michael Fuller. The show is out of Los Angeles, California. The barbershop is in Los Angeles, and Mike Tyson and Roy fought in Los Angeles. So whichever to the question, both in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Mike Tyson 6 days ago. No numbers have been posted on live. Okay. Somebody said, oh, ain't out yet, but what'd they say? No, you heard 5 million.
They probably did a projection of what the numbers.
5 million people. 5 million people. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. Come on, man. What world do we live in, dog? Come on, man. Come on. Hey, it was a draw, and coincidentally, they broke Floyd Mayweather's numbers. Whoever's reporting that shit, I ain't gonna even lie. Y'all niggas better cut that shit out, dog. Hey, if a media member reports they did 5 million views, man. Hey. That was the number to beat, man. 5 million is the number, man. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on. Might as well say 17 million.
This guy Michael Fuller said Tyson is known by billions, bro. Billions. Are you 13?
It ain't 5 million people in America to buy that shit, dog. Come on, y'all. At a $50 clip. Come on, y'all.
Andrew Charles, what up? I see.
Man, y'all niggas funny, man. Please don't report that shit, man. They trying to build their brand, man. Triller's smart though. Triller's smart. It was a draw. Mike Tyson's still alive. Roy Jones. Now they gonna split them up. Who wants to fight Roy Jones? Who wants to fight Floyd Mayweather? I mean, Mike Tyson. Oh, they coming right back, nigga. They coming right back. And it's not by accident that they created like, oh, Evander Holyfield Tyson 3. You know what I mean? 5 million views. Oh man. Come on, y'all. That shit. Come on. Man, y'all niggas believe anything. Nigga, y'all niggas believe anything. I'm not really bald. You know, I just shave my head every day.
He said he's on my billions, bro.
He said he's on billions, nigga. Well, shit. Well, I can say the same thing. Billions of people got the potential of knowing me too, nigga. The world, www. Nigga, shit.
Billions of what?
hey, coincidentally, 5 million is the number, right? Floyd and Conor did 4.7. I'm no way am I a Floyd Mayweather a defendant of Floyd Mayweather, but it's just coincidental. It's just coincidental that Triller is what the zone was supposed to be. Well, they definitely gonna take that market. They definitely gonna take that market because they got an American base now. His name is what, Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. I tried to teach him the same thing.
Tyson's net worth.
Yeah. So
made billions throughout his career, but his net worth isn't as high as you might think. Forbes estimated Tyson's career earnings are around $685 million.
But his current net worth is around $3 million. So this guy talking about he's about billions, about billions.
Yeah, that nigga could have ran.
Adrian Broner by name.
He's not by billions. Shit. The Rock needs to fight then.
Yeah. Jarvis Johnson. What up, JJ?
What up, JJ? What up, man? Man, this shit is hilarious. 5 million pay-per-view buys. What type of man? Please God, man. I hope I don't see that shit on my timeline. This nigga said, if someone reports they broke Floyd Mayweather's records, man, media, y'all fall for anything. Y'all just fall for anything these days. And just so happened, hey, DB, here's the funniest shit ever. It just so happened that the WBC had 2 belts on them Saturday night.
Yeah.
It just so happened, right? How they got 2 belts on them. It just happened. You know, it takes a world champion in boxing a month to get his belts. And it just happened on Saturday night, just in case it was a draw. Just in case it was a draw. We gonna make 2 belts.
Yeah. So what do you think now? You think I would love to see Shannon the Cannon and Mike.
Oh, that Mike wouldn't go for that. Hell no. Mike ain't getting his head knocked off. Ain't no drug testing. They gonna tell you it is. Ain't no fucking drug testing.
No, that's cool. Listen, I would love for Shannon the Cannon to be able to get doped up like Mike. You know,
Mike Tyson was on steroids.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Mike said he was on steroids, weed, all type of shit. You know, but I would love to see Shannon the Cannon get a chance to go and like not
Mike
halfway juice, but to really get juiced up and get in there with Mike. You know what I'm saying? That'd be some shit right there. You know, shit. How old is Shannon Briggs?
Probably 10 years younger than Tyson, right?
Well, shit. Let's see.
If Tyson gonna sell out, he gonna fight. He gonna fight someone in motherfucking.
Damn, Shannon Briggs gonna be 49 years old.
Oh, 5 years younger. Okay.
Shit. Yeah. Damn. Okay.
I knew he was an era after Tyson, though. I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
a half era behind him.
Yeah, half era. Yeah. Hey, but someone said he did 5. Man, God, please, man. You know what, man, please don't fall for that. Please don't fall for that. And they can't substantiate their numbers. They're an app. Come on. They can say
PGA Big Dog. That's a good question. Are they paying sanctioning fees for those belts?
It's a good question. Man. You know who number I found today in my phone?
Michelle
Suleiman. Yeah.
Huh?
You got the M right? I found his number in my phone today. Yeah, found it.
Dang. Michael Fuller?
Michael Fuller. I don't know, man. Just no sanctioning fees, he said, but we got to find that out. Hey, dog, if they didn't pay no sanctioning fees, it's officially y'all getting pimped. It's official. Y'all getting pimped. Fighters, y'all getting pimped. No sanctioning fees. They carry the same belt you got. No sanctioning fees. Y'all niggas getting pimped. Y'all niggas getting PIMPED.
Damn.
They got the same belt you guys made out of the same material.
Damn. That's cold for it. Yeah, you're going to have to tell Blue Blood to put it out there. They're going to hear it from you and say you hating.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man.
Damn. Yeah, that would definitely be pimping.
That's if they didn't pay sanctioning fees. My gosh, I don't know. I can't. I would have to find out. But if I allege that they did, they'll come out and answer it. He answers all my motherfucking. He responds to most of the things that I say about the WBC in his interviews. So,
yeah. Tom Brown said, "What's your thoughts on Dubois?"
What do you want me to say about him? Oh, Blue Blood? No, Blue Blood didn't report that shit. Come on, man. If he did, hey, I don't believe it. It ain't no slight on Blue Blood, but 5 million. You know what they should have said? 4.83. That's what they should have said. We did 4.83 million buys. We just passed Floyd Mayweather. They said 5 million. Oh, man, they said 5 billion. Man, get the fuck out of here. Man, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
Jay Dixon said, "When Sam Watson coming on the show?" Yeah,
that's anytime, man. You know, when the guests go low, when we have slow times, I'll call Sam. You know what I mean? But until then, nah.
Yeah,
you know, I'm being aggressive now. I'm being really aggressive, man. PP, I call her PP. You know what I mean? Producer Patty, man, we being real aggressive right now, trying to get us the best guests possible. So when we get slow, you know, I'll go to like people I can depend on, and he's one of the guys I can depend on, you know. So that's basically what we'll do, you know. So
Okay.
I love Sam.
Okay.
Sam's my guy for sure.
Yeah, but what did you think about that though? That
man, come on,
Daniel
man.
Joe Joyce.
Look,
this is what I think.
Go ahead.
I think both of those dudes are really strong. I think they both got a great knockout power. But man, those dudes, they don't fight smart. Neither one of them have great defense, and they slow as molasses in January, man. God damn. I don't think those dudes can compete with none of the top 7 or 8 guys. You know, when you got power like they do, you can knock out anybody. But I mean, you know who I want to see one of those? I want to see, what's this fool name that just won the fight? Joe Joyce. I want to see this fool fight against Chris Lovejoy. That's what I want to see. You just got yourself a big victory, you know, because he's not a contender yet, so he's still a prospect, you know. So I would like to see that, man. I'm going to put that in his DM, man. Tell him to call out Joe Joyce.
God damn.
What?
Another rapper killed. Red just reported this 3 hours ago. See, I told this nigga Reg report everything. I get all my news from this nigga. Reg, New Jersey rapper, Triple Beans, murder caught on surveillance.
Hold on, man. You know, I was just tripping off something, man. They keep saying rappers, and I don't know the names of these people. You know what I'm saying? So I think Willie D was saying this just yesterday. He said they need to say an aspiring rapper. You know what I mean? But they keep saying that they keep saying that every time that there's somebody that passes away, they just keep saying a rapper. So we kind of focused on rappers, and you know, the majority of people that rap are what? Males. And what kind of males? Black males. Right. So they want to keep doing that thing that they were doing with Chicago. Every time some shit happens in the world, they go, but what about blacks? Can we blacks in Chicago? So I don't think that all of these dudes are necessarily rappers, man. I think these are just dudes like shit. I mean, you take half the chat and ask these dudes if they ever made a song before.
Shit. They fucking, oh my God. They assassinated that man. Whew.
Yeah, Warren Richard, you right. Cold word for nigga. You showed, man, for real.
Whew. I'm sorry to cut you off. That was devastating to look at. Oh, damn. Yeah. Damn, Reg. Whew. Yeah. What Hustler Sim capping about. That's the current. I don't know if he was a rapper. I'll Google him right now. I don't know what kind of rapper he was. I don't know none of them, but what was his name? Triple Bands. Man, he's dead. Like Triple Beans. God damn. Truth. I mean, they just walked up to him and unloaded the clip on him. It was a semi-automatic. It was a semi-automatic too. It was a Glock. Niggas Triple Bean.
Yeah. Let's not finish on a negative note. Let's get back to that box and Tank Obadiah. Yeah. So
yeah, he was a rapper for real. Yeah. I know what you're saying though. I totally get your point. I want to ask him about black on black crime and shit too. You know, so because I was wondering if we go to motherfucking if we go to Indonesia, is it called Indonesia on Indonesia crime? Just curious.
Yeah, and I think Reggie's doing a good job with his YouTube, but also with his Instagram.
His Instagram,
of highlighting these rednecks and, you know, these white dudes fighting each other. You don't hear about that. The white on white crime, the redneck on redneck crime, the country bumpkin on country bumpkin crime.
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
But every time something happens here, they want to keep saying black on black crime. And listen, I get it. You know, I understand. I don't want us killing each other. You know what I mean? Either. But I mean, they keep trying to highlight this shit. They keep saying that these dudes are all rappers and these dudes got jobs working at Target and Walmart and, you know what I mean? Good guys or whatever it may be, you know? So shit, if I died tonight, they're going to say that I'm a rapper. You know, I made a song 5 years ago.
I get it.
You know, rapper killed. Like, what? Come on, knock it off. Yeah. Anyhow. But yeah, I'm back on the boxing though. Tank said he wanted to see a Mike Tyson and Klitschko exhibition, and then looked at the Klitschko's age, and Klitschko just turned 47 years old. So that gap is way too big for Mike.
Oh yeah,
you know?
and he just fought like a real fight 3 years ago.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
was a world champion. Was fought for a world champion. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a champion, and yeah. Or actually, he wasn't a champion. They fought for a vacant belt, right?
Yeah, they fought for a vacant, and he walked in with the IBF strap.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a WBA. Yeah. I think so. I don't know. Someone
TB, right. What up?
TB correct me. TB knows. He's our resident boxing thesaurus. You know, where's H Money? He ain't been here this week. He wasn't here yesterday.
He was here a minute ago. Shit, when the professor was on, shit, he came through Haney about 13, 14 times in a row.
Oh, did he? I missed it. Damn.
Yeah, you know, H Money gonna come in here and represent for his team. Cool. Yeah. That's right, cuzzo. Let him know, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't no damn rapper.
Warren Richards said it's his birthday, man.
Hey, happy G-Day, Warren Richards. Right on. Good brother, man.
Here's your Remy, dog. Here's your Remy. It's vodka. It's vodka Remy. Here it is right here, nigga. Right here. All you. Toast. Let's have a toast.
Vodka Remy.
In Kanye voice. Let's have a toast.
Vodka Remy. Oh man, what else you got, Fred? Man, we had
that's it. Tomorrow is Tuesday. We obviously on the Errol Spence train, so hopefully something cracks during the day. We'll talk about it. If not, then we're gonna elevate this conversation. You know, we'll come right back here. You know, so but yeah, I think Errol Spence gonna beat the shit out this dude.
Tank said he was referring to Vitaly, not Vladimir. So
who's Tally?
Yeah, Vitaly hasn't fought since 2012.
Oh, he's a politician now, right? He's a president or something. What is he?
Yeah, he's some political figure over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these dudes they literally got like 5 backgrounds. They're like German Russians who live in the UK and mom half Canadian Jew or something. These dudes are.
Yeah, Vitaly fought in LA against Lennox Lewis, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was here in LA, I think. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Right.
So TB correct me if I'm wrong. So
or Jay Dixon, one of the brothers to get you tightened up. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just remember going to a Klitschko fight in LA. I think so. I think it was Lennox Lewis.
Jay Dixon, you absolutely right. He said, "Don't break bread with them, Tyson. Fight with another brother." Absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with this.
Gotta fight part 3. You know,
part 3.
No, part 3. Evander, that's the fight.
Oh no, man! Evander motor skills are way off, man. He took too many shots to the head when he was fighting. No, I don't want to see Evander get in there. I seen him working on a bag, man, and it didn't look good, man. It didn't look good. No. I don't want to see Evander get in there at all.
They're gonna bring Tito back then. Who was a big draw? Tito? Was Tito a big draw?
Hell yeah.
They're gonna bring Tito back against Chavez Sr. or somebody. I don't know.
No, Tito will be against Fishnet probably.
Yeah, but that's a real fight, though.
Yeah. Good. I just want to see him beat up. I just want to see anybody beat up on Oscar. That'll be good.
Oscar might get that nigga now, though.
God, don't say it, man. Don't say it.
I don't know. I ain't seen Tito in years. I ain't seen him, but I know. I know when they go back to their home country, they always put on 40 pounds, though. All of them. I ain't never seen South Americans come back not weighing less than 20, 30 pounds. They look completely different. You know what I mean?
That dollar transfer is different. Shit.
Yeah, facts, big
You
facts.
get this California and this Las Vegas dollar. And that's thinking you a big draw and you're making big money.
Oh damn, I didn't know.
Vegas, where the tax is different, you keep a whole lot more of that money. Then you take that money, go back down to Lima, Peru, or shit, somewhere down there in the South. Shit, yeah, you living like a king.
Yeah, breaking news, man. I appreciate that though. Breaking news. DB just broke the news that the California dollar is different than the Vegas dollar. Breaking news.
No, I said taxes. I said taxes.
Oh, okay.
I said the tax. I said the tax. If you fight in Las Vegas and you fight in California, California tax is gonna kick you in your head.
Yeah, that's what. Vegas,
you're gonna keep more of your money. That's what DB said.
Yeah, that's what Wilder said.
Fred, y'all. Fred is the devil, and the devil is a lie.
Hey. Yeah, that's what. What you call said? He thought someone had robbed him. Wilder. He said, someone took my money.
You hear that, real Fred trying to set me up? Man.
I mean, it was breaking news. I didn't shit. I'm just, I'm the what am I, the agitator or the instigator? Which one am I?
Shit, both.
They call me AI. I'm the boxing's AI. I'm AI, nigga. AI. All right, I'll take AI. Call me AI. Yeah.
All right, man.
Let's
Fred,
get out of here.
Listen, Patty Dean, we appreciate you. Love you, Queen. Thanks again for bringing a phenomenal brother through, man, to shed some light on us and to break bread with us in the shop today. Much appreciated. And Patty said both. Yeah, absolutely.
Both of them. BOFFUFEM. Both of them.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'm gonna get some love to the brothers, but yeah, Fred, you said it's just us in here tomorrow, politicking, talking a little shit, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Reggie Owens, you're going live after this, right? Reggie, you can't leave us hanging 2 nights in a row, bro. We need you. Yeah. So I think Reggie might be going live. We'll check in a second. Michael Fuller in the building. He said billions, billions, billions. He said Mike Tyson is worth $365 billion.
He did not say that shit. Michael Fuller didn't say. Hey, Mike Fuller. Hey, I got a Honda. It's a one of one. Don't believe it got 235,000 miles on it. That's fake. It was the government. They set me up the whole time. You know what I mean? But I got a Honda. I got a 2001 Honda. It's a one of one. You know what I mean? It has so many people have ridden in that car. History is in that car. You know what I mean?
And I'll only sell it to you for 6 figures.
Yeah. I'll sell it to you for 114,000 right now. Deal.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, KBD not coming to the shop,
it.
y'all. So yeah, we can leave that alone. Yeah. Pound for pound boxing channel. What up with you? Real rap, man, you might as well go on and go live. Reggie said he's not going live. He got some work he got to handle.
Stupid.
So we can get that. Let's see who else you got in the building, man. Everybody give another shout out to the brother Warren Richards, man. Happy
birthday, big homie. Big homie.
Absolutely.
That makes me the big homie.
Israel in the building. What up, Anna Israel? Eli Zachary talks everything. Eli, you got to go live, man. One of y'all brothers going to do it, man. Dave Jack in the building. What up with you, fam bam? Gump 88 in the building. What's up? Hustler Slam still in here. Cracking jokes.
Right.
Jay Dixon here, keeping everybody in line. Let's see.
Red says, tell her the mile gauge is showing 200. That's the worth of the car. Yeah, hey, this Honda's classic. You know how many videos I done made in the Honda, nigga? Oh man, they got history in that motherfucker. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I won't even wash the back seat for you. I won't wash the back seat so you can smell the memories.
Smell the memories. You need to try to sell that to Tom Brown. Boston in the house, B. Hodges, Derek Collins in the building. He said, another love, TKO. Yes, indeed.
Oh, man.
Absolutely. Tank Obadiah TV, the sweet science examiner. My cousin D-Man Jr. I seen Jarvis in here earlier. Boxer straight right. He said, salute Fred, salute DB, Reggie Owens, and everybody in the chat. I'm out and I catch the show and rewind. Well, you hit us and rewind. J.A., what up? Tino Fernandez in the building with us. Tone Brown, we see you still in the building. Tone, we got to get you some coochie soon. Let's see.
coochie. Oochie coochie.
Yeah.
La la la. Oochie coochie. Ah, y'all know nothing about that. Oochie coochie. La la la. Oochie coochie. I am the one on the phone. I don't know the words, but once you tell me the first line, I'll remember the song. I am the one. La la la. Oochie coochie. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Damn, I don't even. Damn, the song sound familiar, but that
MC Brains, yeah. Oochie coochie. La la la. I am the man that's on. Yeah, I remember that part, but I'm trying to get it too.
Okay.
On the phone, you see.
Michael Fuller came in talking big shit today. He said you dated yourself, bro.
Everybody knows I'm old. Everybody know I'm old. You see this ball spot? You see this nigga? Everybody, I'm old, nigga. I'm old, nigga. I'm old, nigga. How old are you? How old are you?
Brown, G Brown came in.
How old are you, Michael? How old are you, Michael? Just curious. How old are you? How old are you, Mike? I'm just curious. How old are you?
He said he's LOL.
Oh, okay. Oh man, Mike said he's 52. Okay, cool. 52.
Damn, and so G Brown knew that song too. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I was in middle school when that song came out. I remember singing that at Horse, man.
Well, there it is. All right, man. Well, it's time to get up out of here, man. Peoples Hernandez, you still in here with us, man? You finna give us 5 mics. Mr. Vegas in here, done slid back in the building. My brother Aeon Jack in the 909 in the building, representing out in Thailand for us real quick. You know, and Terrence Bailey Sr. said, great show. Thank you, fam.
Yeah.
Man, until next time, nobody's going live, so we'll catch y'all tomorrow. Play the song, Fred!
Pulled the trigger a little early, but it's cool. Hey, I was like, okay, he about to Deacon 305. Nigga came in with a sermon. God damn, nigga. God damn, nigga. Like this nigga was gonna stay on the phone till Jesus came back. God damn, this nigga was like, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and the Divine Trinity. People Hernandez gave us 5 mics. Let the church say amen. Amen, baby. God damn. This nigga was about to Christian whip this nigga. He was about to give him 3 lashes. Amen. God damn. Man, Deacon 305 wasn't playing. Don't talk about Jesus now. Man, I'm gonna just start calling this nigga Dr. J. That's I'm gonna start calling Jesus Dr. J. You know,
because the devil is alive.
Dr. J is in the building. And God is
outside. Caesar's in the building.
Right, Reg. Right, Reg. Hey, man. Oh, this is Reg week's vacation, and then he's coming back. What happened to Haney and Gary Russell? I don't know. Maybe Gary Russell will be on soon. I don't know. I haven't heard from Gary in a minute, so it's the moment of truth. No backing down.
Yeah, I seen Rob G. film all night.
Yeah, Gary done went into hiding again, man. You got to stay active on this shit, man. 404, you got to hit me tomorrow. I just got your email. Hit me tomorrow. Ask a serious question tomorrow. You know what I mean? Call Errol and get H money on the school. He gonna be on next week. We may have a big one next week. I'll know by Wednesday if I can get him next week. So, and we just gotta align his schedule with ours. Y'all gonna love this guest. Exciting. Yeah, man. Bob Dole. Is he still alive, Bob Dole?
I hope not.
Oh my God. Oh man.
Hey, there you go. He said it's Haney time. Get him, H money.
Haney. Gary Russell Jr. gonna be here calling out Jake Paul. Oh my God. He said, "That's funny, Red. That's funny." He said, "He gonna be calling out Jake Paul." Hey, don't believe Floyd Mayweather, y'all. Don't believe Floyd, man. That nigga going for that money. He did Adrian Broner wrong too. He took Maidana from Adrian Broner, the rematch. Anyways, man, what's up? What we got?
That's it, man. Ain't nobody going live after this, man. So, you know, we're going to catch everybody. Everybody get a chance to catch up on all the articles, read the news, see what's going on with Clarissa Shields, the Mike Tyson numbers, and black on black crime.
Facts. See you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. 100%, brother. Love you, man.
All right,
love
love
y'all.
you. See you tomorrow, big homie. All right, we out the son of a gun, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hey, appreciate you, Red.